Oh, crap. We didn't start the thing. Good evening, chat. Good evening, chat. Hello. We have an interesting set of events here tonight. We have the ASAP Rocky verdict coming up right now. And right after that, we are going to be dealing with Karen Reed. She had a pretrial today. And, well, I think we could just say it left under a... Hold on here. You can hear me better now. There's a bit of cloud on it right now. There's the way the judge ended it and what's being alleged. It's kind of serious business. Yes, very cozy. Yes, I'm still feeling cold. But joining us now is Hella from Excited Utterance. How are you doing, Hella?
I'm good, and it's not cold here.
Well, I'm sure it's not.
It's not. It's very not cold here.
Yes. So, Hella, I don't know if you've been following along with the ASAP Rocky
trial. Yeah, I've been watching.
Okay. All right. So,
do we have a poll?
Not yet, but we're gonna get that up in a second. Apparently, it's gonna wait till 7:20. So,
oh, sweet. Okay.
We're not there yet, chat. We're not there yet. So 7:20 p.m. Now, I will say, are you convinced that he did it, or where do you kind of sit in this right now?
Oh, please, no. I'm not. I'm never convinced anyone did it. No, that's not true. I'm not convinced he did it, and I'm not convinced it was proven by the state. However, I will say this: I think he's going to get found guilty.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
Why do you think that? If you
because
don't mind.
Because it's a jury, and juries are idiots. Sorry. No, I just generally think that's what they like to do. I think they're going to find him guilty because the prop gun thing doesn't make much sense.
So, okay, and that's one of the things I, from the start, I'm like, when I first, when Takapina explained it, I'm like, I'm not so sure it's going to go the way you guys think it's going to go. Mm-hmm. But, yes, hold on here.
I don't think they're going to like that bit. Afton says, after listening to the KR juror, I agree with Hella. Hey, I am not following what's going on with KR at the moment, but every time I hear a juror come out and speak, they all pretty much say the same kind of garbage.
Okay. Well, Chad, I do want to tell you, just so you're aware, we do have some information here. We do have a goal tonight. For every super chat, that translates to one not guilty verdict on the ASAP Rocky's jury. So, something to think about there. One like is one not guilty. Well, one super chat is one not guilty. I'm just screwing with you guys. Really, that's not going to change the outcome, but why not? You guys want something chat needs a goal, so we're going to do the goal. I'm obviously, I wouldn't be surprised if Rocky had used a gun. I'm just also, by the way, chat, locals should be up and running. So anybody who is wondering about that, we are live on locals tonight, or Rumble tonight, not Rumble. Rumble, now locals. Rumble should be good to go. Your poll is broken. Why? What do you mean it's not working?
Oh, no, Justin. He's just playing with you.
Yes. But I think it's a tough case to try to run around and say, oh, he did do nothing. And I'm just like, if he can get the jury to go along with it, great. But I will say this much. Watching the prosecution in this case, I was very disappointed in them. I mean, I didn't expect much out of the state at the end of the day. But wow. I'm not trying to say, this Lewin guy is racist, but holy crap. The way he acted towards people in this case, just the way this case has gone, watching this man who's supposedly one of the more elite members of this prosecutor's office just show his ass, day
He
in
was a
and day
whiny
out.
bitch too, wasn't he?
Well, yes, but when it got to the point of where 12E, for example, was saying, "You feel me?" and he's like, "Sir, I want you to understand. No, I don't feel you." And looking at that, I'm like, you could find the stodgiest and stuffiest person in all of LA, some white guy who lives up in the hills, and he would say, "I understood what he meant. Why are you such a dickhead?"
Yeah.
And I was very, very surprised at how they did all that. I was very disappointed in that. Just acting like a complete asshole.
There was no need for that.
Yeah. Yes. Catpool is saying, I didn't follow this trial because of the shit show. How long do they take to get to the verdict? Well, I had said it was going to take them anywhere from an hour and a half to 3 hours. And let's see here, because we're going to pull up. Long Crime had the they actually had the thing working here. So let's see what they've got. See if we can pull this up here. Let's see. So their verdict watch. How far did they get already? So we'll switch over this real quick. We'll see what they have here. So they had the jury was out skipping lunch. The jury was out about 4 hours, which I said an hour and a half to 3 hours. So I tried. I got close, Chad. I got close. I tried.
Can we see their poll?
Their poll over like on Long Crime? Yeah, here, let's see.
Yeah.
I don't know if they have a poll right now. Oh, there we go.
Yes, they do.
You know, what's their verdict?
Yes.
They're not including hung jury. Wow. We'll do not guilty. Wow.
So, what is it?
77 to 23.
What?
Over in Long Crime.
Yeah, 77 what?
What?
Guilty or not guilty?
Yeah, 77 to 23 not guilty. I thought you guys could see that.
No. Really?
Oh.
They think it's going to be not guilty?
78% not guilty.
No! Wow! Okay.
I'm impressed. They have 23,000 people watching. Oh, well, they're missing out on quality. They're missing out on quality content here, but that's their problem. That's their problem.
Take it back. It's going to be not guilty. Court TV chat's always right.
Well, that was Long Crimes chat. That was not Court TV's chat.
Same shit.
Well, so we'll take a look at Court TV in a second here. We'll take a look at Court TV here and see what they've got. So, Spets, real quick, is saying, I've been catching a lot of the VODs lately. Well, I appreciate you watching those. What's the Stonies reference to? So, Aaron, the Steel Toe guy, does a lot of Stonies ad reads. He's sponsored by the show. And I really just started doing it to make fun of Aaron. Because it's one of his sponsors is Stonies Bar and Grill. So I started doing it to make fun of Aaron. And apparently it started upsetting Nick. So I'm like, I'm just going to keep doing it. And it's just been kind of like a running gag here. So that's why we're doing it. So that's why we did it. That's why we did it.
No, it's your real sponsor.
What's that?
It's your real sponsor.
Well, I do have real sponsors. I do have real sponsors, though. We do have real sponsors, and we should get to those real quick.
We should.
Chat. So you guys, we have a couple of sponsors tonight if you guys are new. Also, by the way, I forgot to mention if you guys are new here, my name's Sean. I'm an attorney in the Cleveland, Ohio area, and obviously here we're tonight for ASAP Rocky. Also, chat, can you let me know, is the Rumble chat up and running? Because nobody's over there. And people always want it. And Rumble, I finally got it all figured out. We're going to be using Rumble all the time now. So Rumble should work. Let's see here. So with that said, though, we do have our sponsors. We're going to get these real quick. We have the dragonstreasure.com, a haven for tea and anime lovers. But they also sell soap and they also sell coffee, chat. Use the promo code criminal. You get 10% off. And then, chat, we also have maf-arms.com. Yes, maf-arms.com. You know him as Matt LaRosier, Fudbusters, the premier wind chime dealer in all of South Central Florida. Remember, Chet, I did point out to you guys, yes, it is coming to spring, so you want your wind chimes to work, and you want them to be loud and loud and functioning. So get your wind chimes ordered up, get them cleaned, get them oiled and ready. Got to have your wind chimes oiled and clean, chat. So they are ready and loud so the whole neighborhood can hear them. So maf-arms.com. Use the promo code POTCRIM. You get 10% off. And then last but not least, chat, we have Stoney's Bar and Grill. That's right, chat. Stoney's, Central Minnesota's premier biker bar. They are still on winter hours, chat. So at this point, they are opening at 4 p.m. on Tuesdays. Tomorrow is Wednesday. They're open at 1, so you can get your Whiskey Wednesday going. But they are there. They are there to service your needs. And chat, I'll just show this so you're aware. Here are their hours of operation right now, in case you guys were wondering. Starting February 1st, these are subject to change, but these are the winter hours. You know, go out, get some work done, shovel some snow, then get drunk. They're just making sure you take care of your obligations. But yes, guys, Stoney's home of the $2.50 cans. And that is where they are. You can find them there at Stoney's. Serving Minnesota for 30 years. So thank you guys for all of that. Oh.
Sean, question.
Yes.
Actually,
yes.
someone in chat just asked this. Is Rocky facing time?
Yes, he potentially could go to prison for this. The prosecution got very upset over the idea that people were claiming he was facing up to 24 years in prison on it. Now, the prosecution got really mad. So, like, we're not asking for that. And he's not eligible for it. And yes, that's the worst case scenario. There are a lot of laws and procedures in California that would likely limit the amount of jail time he faces. The prosecution has stated they believed that an accurate thing for him would be anywhere from probation up to 8 years in prison. And obviously, they're going to be asking for prison with him. So we'll see what that actually means. I don't know what that actually would turn into for him, but that is an option available. Certainly, I think they would be going for whatever they could get on him.
Interesting.
So, Aaron says, no wonder Rihanna brought the toddlers this way to jury.
Yeah,
Guys, it is psychological warfare. It is sales. You are trying to sell something. Why would you not?
Yeah.
It works. Sometimes it works. It'll work on a jury, but you have to be careful. I've seen people try to do that in court, and a judge looked at the lady and said, everybody's got kids. And it made things worse. So I've seen it where the judges do get really mad and say, how dare you bring your kids in here as a prop? In this situation, well, because they did.
Really?
She was getting sentenced, and she brought her kids in. Basically saying, well, you can't put me in jail because I've got my kids here. You wouldn't do that. And he said, I'll put you in jail and call Children's Services right now. But this lady had been gaming the system. This wasn't her first time in court. So, like, this was her plan. Like, I had seen her in court before. She had caused a lot of problems for herself. So that is yeah.
Well, I mean, like, if that's the case, then no one should be allowed to bring their kids into court.
You generally and that's why they try to avoid that. That's why they try to avoid it. So, that's what Elizabeth Holmes did. Well, Elizabeth Holmes went a step further and got knocked up. So,
did you see she did an interview?
Yes.
Just recently? Yeah.
Yes. Does she still use this voice when she
talks?
Yes, she does. She talks like this.
See, that's the thing. If I was Trump, I would pardon her if she could just talk in her normal voice.
If she keeps talking like this, I will never let you out of prison.
I find her fascinating. I think she's awesome. Like, she did, like, do some bad stuff, but apart from that, she's pretty cool.
I've been preempted by the Kash Patel vote. It's the vote to get him out of committee. He's not up for... Tomorrow is the committee vote for Kash Patel. So there you go. That's the important thing. PDT 1175. Can I speak about college air conditioners? No, I that's been a long time since I've been involved in the heating, ventilation, and air conditioning concerns about college campuses. Sorry, sir, I can't help you. Who's been following the Macron story? What, that his wife, who's already like 80 years older than him, is also possibly a man? I don't think she's a man. I think Candace Owens has lost her damn mind. But yeah, they're all cringe anyway. But good to see you, KRM. Let's see here. What are some of the other... Alyssa says it's a free courtroom. Yes, but a lot of courtrooms will not let you take babies and very small children in because they will be disruptive. So that's not uncommon at all, though. Angela says, I would absolutely have brought my kids to the last day in court. Like I said, I don't blame them. It's a good idea. Olympus says, ASAP stand for always say a prayer. No, always strive and prosper is what ASAP means.
Really?
Yes. Yes, and unlike, it's not like YSL where he's like truly humble under God, where they made up what thug meant. No, it truly means always strive and prosper. That's been their thing forever. Let's see what else we got. Let's see, catching up on stuff. Phoebe says, I'm nervous about the verdict. Yeah, I get it. It's a very questionable case. They don't have very good evidence, but at the end of the day, it's this theory about it being a fake gun. Like a prop gun. It's like, I don't know how well that's going to work with the jury. But on the positive side for the defense, the state has tried to bullshit the jury very hard. And jurors don't like to get bullshitted. I mean, they generally know something's up. So I have a feeling they're going to know what's going on. I was not very... And, as we saw the defense counsel screaming, or the prosecutor screaming and hollering during closing arguments, there's a lot going on there.
Sean, can I ask you something? Do you think that if
also,
this
I
was
forgot
just...
to mention... Hella sorry. Guys, this Hella with excited utterance, she does Hearsay for Days and various other programs.
I haven't done Hearsay for Days for a month or so. I'm holding it off. Yes, because I'm reimagining it. I'm thinking about doing it...
mate?
Well, I'm a bit on holiday, mate, but I'm thinking about doing it at a different time slot with a slightly different format. I'm not getting rid of it, but I'm just reimagining it at the moment.
So what are you into right now?
What do you mean?
What are you covering right now?
I've been mainly covering Brian Koberger and Richard Allen lately. Those have been my main things. Because that whole situation with... Did you hear what Judge Gull just did?
Yes, she's not letting them preserve evidence of a guy who maybe admitted to, hey, we covered up the exculpatory material. So yes.
Yeah, and not just that, she just goes, denied.
Yes.
No explanation.
That's because she's a piece of
nothing.
Shit.
Yes, she is a piece of shit. Anyway, my question was, if this was just some dude, right?
Yes.
Rocky, if he wasn't famous, if he wasn't married to Rihanna, if he was just some dude, do you think that the jury... And assuming that the jury is sympathetic to him, do you think the jury would be so sympathetic? Do you think the law and crime chat would be so sympathetic to him?
No, but also remember, if this was just some two random black guys in a shooting, nobody would ever fucking hear about this case. So,
it wouldn't even be...
This wouldn't even make the paper.
No one's dead, so why would... Yeah.
Well, even then, that might not make the paper in LA. So we don't actually know. We don't actually know. I'd like to think so. But it's this whole thing's been a sideshow. I mean, mainly ASAP Rocky is famous for, blowing out Rihanna's back. Like, that's what he's like. I mean, he's a rapper and all that. But if you ask most people what's he famous for, it's because he's Rihanna's baby daddy.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Clearly. Because I'm just wondering whether there's different rules for different people going on.
Of course there are.
Yeah.
Of course there are. Of course there are. I mean, let's not lie about it. There are different rules for different people. So when you're, a rapper whose net worth is... What is ASAP Rocky's net worth?
Yeah, what is it? Let's see.
Rocky net worth. His net worth is a cool $20 million. Which, that's not bad. That's not bad. But, Rihanna's net worth. $1.4 billion. It's like,
holy
buddy. Ooh, buddy.
Jesus.
Yes, Rihanna's famous for getting her ass kicked by Chris Brown. Yeah. But Haschick, yes, this is the final setup here. This is the final setup. We're going to get the verdict, and it's going to be done. And yes, we're going to be going, guys, after this. We are going to cover it. We'll talk about it. Then we're going to go into the Karen Reed pretrial. It's about 2 hours long. Some interesting stuff has been alleged, and there could be a lot of changes there. Over in Rumble, Mamasaurus Rex says it's working. Thank you. And then Northside CA says, is this the guy who does the Cuck Law CLE on Ricotta Law? Do the Cuck CLEs count towards your ethics credits? And then you guys want some Clyde CLEs. Well, and do they work towards Grantham and his? Well, Grantham's pulling an Elon and just knocking up chicks left and right. So that's a little different. Do you know who Grantham is?
No, I just laughed at the Elon thing. Who's that?
Grantham is a gun tuber. He's a guy. He's does a lot of gun stuff, all kinds of videos. Super huge channel, and apparently he has this thing for like going out and just like trying to knock women up.
As you do.
Yeah, and it's like his second marriage, and he's like out running around trying to like shut up every woman he could find in Idaho. It's like it's a complete disaster.
He gets his shaft out.
Pretty much. Pretty much that's what he does.
Mm-hmm.
So
how can there be a thing called
gun... the cum cannon? Yes.
How can there be a thing called GunTube when you're not allowed to show guns on YouTube?
Well, you can show them. You can record videos with it. I just can't show them live.
That's right.
That's the difference here. So
yeah.
Like there are guns like sitting here on the table. I cannot talk about them. I can talk about them. I just can't show them.
I can talk about them. You can't just go.
Yeah, and I also can't show a video of a gun. The only thing that I would be allowed to show is a video game that displays a firearm. That's the only exception for that rule. So, oh my God, there's a lot of Discord messages here.
Probably all people trying to tell you that the verdict is coming up.
Yes. Also, there's an allegation that Tacopina violated the gag order. Interesting.
Oh yes. Well,
he gave an interview.
Was that? Yeah, I know. Did I message you about this the other day? No, I messaged someone about it.
You don't like me that much to tell me what's going on.
Oh, sorry. I told you about the verdict. Right? But okay, so I don't know. I think it was Scott and those guys. I messaged some people anyway in my Discord, and I was like, "What is he doing? Doing an interview? He was doing an interview at noon Eastern on Monday." Right, he did a YouTube interview just on a small channel, smaller than mine, right? And
Tacopina went on a random YouTube channel.
Yes.
Oh my God, I need to reach out to homie.
He went on a random YouTube channel.
Judge found out this morning the gag order wasn't violated. Okay. Well,
Okay. Well, he must have been really careful with what he said.
Yeah.
Because because Tacopina's son also went on this YouTube channel. He must know the people who run it or something. But yeah, I was just like, well, wouldn't you go do an interview after the verdict?
Oh, it's people from Law and Crime. That's why they went on there.
Justice Serve YT channel. Those two people are from.
I'm still reach out to Tacopina's office. Let's see if he'll do it. That'll be great. That'll be great if he could.
Random.
So
Taco
we'll see.
Used to work
we'll see.
Yeah, that's what Okay, so I was when I saw it, I was like, he must know these people, sure.
Yeah. Yes. All right, guys. So we're waiting. We're waiting right now. Neway says, "Could you paint us a gun word picture?" Yeah, I could probably draw a gun and paint, and that's about it. And Tim says, "I wonder if Rocky's watching this right now." That would be hilarious. That would be hilarious. That would be hilarious. The meta of like, if I'm ever in a trial and you guys are watching that, and then I'm sitting there watching you guys watch me in trial, that would be the ultimate meta. I'd screenshot that for everyone. That's why I don't tell you guys when I go to court, and I will never tell you where to go to court.
No,
I don't like people. I like to watch. I don't like being watched. Angela says, yes, First Court TV reached out, said hello, and now maybe Tacopina. Yeah, becoming big time. I know. That'd be great.
Yeah.
They're so let you think I was running the stream. Well, remember, this is California. In LA, the court reporters are unionized, and they can only go so long every day. We talked about this. 6 hours of video, like they record for 6 hours, and it's like 2 hours of actual courtroom time every day. So it's going to be there. Can I eat a Pop-Tart? You fantasize about us watching you in court. Not so much. Not so much. Yes, I am a voyeur, not an exhibitionist. Yes! To quote the great Vincent Kennedy McMahon. The chairman. Well, former chairman.
More.
Yes.
More.
Yes. No, my goodness, it's not going tonight. Yes. You're fired. Yes. Let's see here. Yes, watching you, watching me. All right. Can you tell Rocky Chris hit it first? Chris Brown's gonna have problems, man, when he gets indicted for doing all the stuff with Diddy. So he's got big issues anyway. Real quick, Afton Ford says, better do my part. Yes, that's right, chat. Everybody's doing their part today. That's all that matters.
Fight for the future.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part too.
Yes, everybody's doing their part, chat. Everyone's doing their part. Rowan Coward says, how does Hella feel about Gabe Owens? I'm assuming is what that means.
Explain, who the hell's that?
I don't know who Gabe Owens is either. I know Gabe Hoffman.
Okay.
I don't want to trifle with the Mossad, so they're nice people. Gabe Hoffman's the best. Fatty Caddy for $2. Good to see you, man. Is saying, Miss Kasparian, Sean would love to have you be a guest. Yeah, I'm not so sure about that. I'm not so sure if she's watched my Trump streams. But that's I think the closest I'll ever get to interacting with her is interacting with Sitch and Adam, because they have her on. And they have her on, and then I've been on with Sitch and Adam. That's kind of like the closest I'll get. That's the closest I'll get. Meme Toes is a new member. Thank you for the support and your generosity. Christine Fortunato has been a member for 7 months. Christine, thank you so much. I appreciate the support. Thank you so much for being here. Hold on. Oh, okay. There we go. Yes, this show has been brought to you by Gabe Hoffman. Well, if it's been brought to you by Gabe Hoffman, I ain't getting paid like that, so I'm a little upset.
Eric, my cat does not look pissed. He's so happy. He comes to me.
Oh, hold on here. Clyde, come here, Bubba. Hey, come here. Come here. Come on. He's like sniffing around on the floor. I don't know what he's up to. So, Clyde, come here. Come here, buddy. He's just staring at you like, not today, fat man. Not today.
Look at him. Look, he's so good.
All right. All right. We'll just ignore him later. We'll just ignore it for later. But thank you again, Christine. I appreciate it. DS says it's in LA, not guilty or I'll be shocked. I really hope it's not guilty. I don't think they can prove this guy's case. I think it's unfair what they've done to him. I think he will come over here. Hi, pup. Oh, yes, it's time. Yes, chat. You wanted him. Yep. Some of you were asking for him. You got him. It's time for Clyde. He's here. He's here. Hi, buddy. You want some weed treats? I got you.
Sarah's like, no. No.
Take some weed treats, Clyde.
No.
Here you go.
I do not like.
Got some dog
Canines.
ASMR too, chat. There we go. So.
Meow, no. Save me.
All right, guys. So let's see here. Yeah, DS, I don't know. You'd like to think not guilty, but you never know. As much as you like to think, oh, well, he's black, so they'll cut him slack. People also don't like people shooting up their neighborhoods. This is a jury composed of multiple ethnicities and races. No black people, though, but other members of the community. Vodka Blood for $20 says, Sean! Yes. Thank you for that. Thank you for the super chat. Let's see what everybody else is up to real quick here. You are loved. Yes. Thank you, Kimbo. Let's see here. Yes. The skinny's not here. Are we doing the entire Starship Troopers dialogue? Yes. Yes. Let's see here. The non-beard is so gay. I don't have a beard.
Non-beard. Are we talking about Alberto? Are we talking about Sean or are we talking about Rocky?
Yeah, I just had to trim it up today, so I got to go to court tomorrow. Actually, didn't have to go. I had to fill in. Somebody asked me to kind of cover their case for them, and like the court 10 minutes away, so I ran over and did it. But I didn't have to get all, just took care of it real quick. But you had to get shaved up for tomorrow. Proof of Clyde. Yes, a very good proof. And Jamie Moody for 35. ZAR Zimbabwean, right? Or South African? Is that South African Rand? Yes, South African Rand. 35 South African Rand, not Kruger Rands. 35 South African Kruger Rands. Holy shit, that'd be great. 35 South African Kruger Rands. I'd dance around without a shirt on. Says, I'm going back to South Korea after the vacation home to South Africa. I hate to get to my parents and grandparents. Damn the South African government. Yeah, that's something we'll probably be talking about soon. Yeah, the land reforms in South Africa, not going so well. And, I guess it's kind of what you expect when the party in power, one of their famous songs is kill the Boer, kill the farmer, bring me my machine gun. So, yeah, heart goes out to all the South Africans out there, the Afrikaners. Well, Trump is willing to give you asylum, so take advantage of it. I don't know if you've heard about that, but yeah, they're basically doing the Zimbabwean land reforms in South Africa. So, yeah. Yes. I want to pursue the question why the DA even decided to pursue this because of who's involved. Rocky.
Yeah.
This is a big case, and they don't, they want to do something about it. What are you doing, buddy? Huh?
Paige M has a good question. Hey, Paige. If it's not guilty, do you think the civil case will be dropped?
Probably. Because if it's a not guilty, that looks good in the civil case for Rocky. Because the civil case has got a lower standard of proof, and the higher standard of proof exonerated him. So I think that's probably what will happen there.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think there's much to do at that point. But remember, I thought it was funny in this chat and other places, people were upset that Camille Vasquez, the attorney on Johnny Depp's trial, was one of the attorneys that Relly hired.
Yeah.
And that she was working with Benjamin Crump, somebody that everybody hates. And I'm like, you might like her, but she's a mercenary, dude. Think about it. You get to take a bite out of Rocky's and Rihanna's ass.
Yeah.
That $1.4 billion. Hell yeah, you would. That's a great chance to go after her.
Like, just because you liked her in one case doesn't mean she's not going to try and get money out of a billionaire.
Yes.
She will.
Mm-hmm. Justin Smith says no brothers. Nope. And no black people on the jury. Chick says, yeah, nope. It's a jury of like white people, some Asians, some Hispanics. But yeah, no black folk.
Huh.
So, yeah. And that's just there was nobody there in the jury pool they were using.
I couldn't find any black people.
Are there any Koreans on the jury? They're going to bury them out of the courthouse. Now, remember, the Koreans had a lot of their shootouts with the Hispanic gangs, not the black gangs. Tell Clyde that he doesn't have to melt to lose structural integrity. Yes. Well, no, that's true. Jet fuel. Clyde, I don't know. Clyde, do you think jet fuel can melt steel beams? Do you think jet fuel can melt steel beams, Bubba? I know you already know about Building 7, but could the jet fuel melt steel beams? The jury's out for him on that still. The jury's out for him on that still. Do you get paid for filling in? Well, this attorney, if I need her down the road, she can fill in for me somewhere. So no, it took like 10 minutes. I drove for 10 minutes, did it for 10 minutes, and came back home. So no, I'll just be able in the future. I'm gonna need her. I'll need somebody to cover for me somewhere at some point, and I'll cash that in there. So that's how, it depends on the situation. If it's like a serious hearing, yeah, I would have said like, well, what are we gonna do about it? But it was just a client of hers getting sentenced, and it was like on a minor thing, so not a big deal. F. Gusto says, Tipples, yes, my Tipples. An MLS player's home was robbed today. Oh, womp womp. Yes, South African rand, the apartheid's rand. All right.
Law and Crime has just said that there's no change to the time. It's just they're waiting for people to arrive.
Okay. Well, we're still waiting, chat. Let's see if their chat is their chat still running over here. Okay, Law and Crime or Court TV saying 66% not guilty.
Huh? What?
Court TV is saying 66% not guilty.
Okay, so there's okay, cool.
But so it's still quite a bit of people. So quite a bit of people still think not guilty, which is impressive. You're starting to see more and more of that, which is good. That not everybody's just sitting here, blowing the state.
Well, there's a lot of Rihanna fans.
Well, that too. Augusto Pinochet says Clyde hit the clacker that brought down Building 7. We all know the truth. Well, actually, Clyde was helping remove all the gold from the World Trade Center vaults. Like, duh. Oh. Rivette says, I guess someone got stuck in traffic. That could easily happen there. That could 100% happen. That could 100% happen. And yes, Eric Fulham says in the Jesse Ventura voice, yes, thermite paint. They coated the beams of the World Trade Center with thermite paint. And that's how it blew up. I think he still believes this. J-Rock says that Lewin will object if the verdict is not guilty. Oh, I'm sure he will. I'm sure he'll complain. Franco says they can't convict unless Chad is unanimous. That is hilarious. Yes. Ag is saying it was the veggie oils that did it. Oh, yes, that could easily be it. Clyde is like, it's your deal, buddy. So, well, we see Rocky fleeing in a Bronco. That would be so funny.
Nah, Bronco.
So, Rowan Coward says, Jesus, owners, not Owens. Oh, so it's Gabe Owners? Okay, I thought you just mistyped that.
Gabe
Sorry.
Owners.
I don't know who he is, so.
I'll Google it. Now you've done
Haschick is saying not guilty by reason of a stupid lying victim. Yes. Not guilty because Relly's a dumbass. KJ says, been a member for 12 months, says if Fort Knox has the Nazi gold, does Israel get it? Well, finders keepers, generally, if you're a government. So I assume no. But Nazi gold, we melted it down. It's gone. And that's the thing you would do if you ended up finding Nazi gold somewhere. You would melt it down and restrike it. You wouldn't just walk around with the Reichsadler stamped in a block of gold, because that would get confiscated. So that's a free tip, chat. What Nazi gold? So if you ever feel the need to go scuba diving in the Swiss Alps on a lake, be careful about how you do it. Just be careful. Free Australia.
Are we not free?
Don't bother none says that's destroying history. Well, Rowan Coward says how. Rowan is obsessed with gay boners. I don't know why he likes gay boners, but apparently Rowan likes gay boners.
He seems to like gay boners.
It's okay, yeah. Rowan. It's 2025. You can like all the gay boners you want. Sure. You can rub them on your face. Nobody's going to judge you.
No.
Unless you get monkeypox, and then we'll say you kind of got that. No mandate says Ashkenazi gold. Well, that too. The gold itself kvetches. J-Rock says, hence why Sean has a forge. Shh. No, not here. Not in public. All right, so let's see here. What is our poll up to right now? 319 votes. All right, we're going to end it right now and see where we're at. 320 votes. Ending the poll. This is a very different poll. 33% says not guilty. 30% say ASAP Relly is a snitch. 27% say guilty. And a hung jury, 9%. So I think it's probably 63% not guilty, which is good. Is the gold kosher? I don't know. That's actually a good question. Cat Scatler says, what if Rocky's accuser ends up not breathing in the foreseeable future? All right, Clyde, I'll put you down, buddy.
Ooh. Yes, good
You know, man, the streets be fierce like that. The streets be fierce. And, you know, snitching ain't easy. Sometimes if you snitch, you sleep in a ditch. So snitching is like crab fishing on Deadliest Catch. It's a very dangerous job, and
Yes,
being
it
a snitch is a very dangerous job.
One thing I've taught my daughter right from the beginning, it's like, you don't knock. Do not be a knock.
Yes.
Did you just knock? You knocked, didn't you? No more. You knocked. Just be quiet.
Don't you guys call it grass, or do you guys not refer to it there?
Nah, it's knocking.
Okay.
Hmm.
You're gonna be super grass.
Or you grass someone up.
Yeah.
There's grassing
Okay.
up, but basically you're a knock.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stace says, what temp does gold melt at? Like 1900 degrees. Actually, it's a lot less than steel. It's more than a aluminum, as Helen might call it. But yes, it's like 1900 degrees. Roughly.
Aluminium. Yeah.
Yes. Are you looking to hire someone to build tunnels under your home? No. Jay says, who the hell is ASAP Rocky? ASAP Rocky is this guy here. He is a rapper. Not like a gift rapper. He's like a real rapper. Part of his group, the ASAP Mob, him and another guy named ASAP Relly, they had a fight. And at some point in the middle of the fight, and actually we'll see if we can grab the video of it. ASAP Rocky is accused of getting in a fight with Relly and pulling out a gun. Rocky claims it was a fake gun. Relly claims it was a real gun. And at some point, Rocky, in the middle of the fighting, shot at Relly. And here, we'll bring it up. So he's being accused of assault with a deadly weapon through use of a handgun. So here is, and we're going to switch over real quick, chat. This is the actual incident here. So you're going to see, and this is part of a parking garage, so you can't see everything. But they start fighting, and that's ASAP Rocky. And they're fighting, and somebody stepped on someone's Puma. And as you can see, Rocky has something in his hand down here. There's something in his hand, so keep your eyes peeled on that. There you go.
There it is. That's a gun.
He's got a gun-looking object. Is it a real gun? Is it a blank firing gun? We don't know. Why is it not going? And you can see him with it, and they were he was threatening him with it, it looks like, as other people are walking around downtown Hollywood. Rocky and his buddies walk away, and Relly continues to keep chasing them down. And then they have a big fist fight. And at some point, ASAP pulls out his gun and starts shooting it. And Relly claims it was a real gun, but nobody knows for sure. So
that's the footage that's supposed to show.
Yes, this is the footage the prosecution showed that they allege shows that Rocky tried to, kill Relly or cause serious bodily injury. And that's it. That's the entire saga right there. Which you're like, some of you are going to say, wait, that's it? Yes, that's entirely it. So that is really all this is. He's charged with assault with a deadly weapon. And the reason why Relly did suffer injuries, his knuckles got scraped up. And now he claims either the bullet or the muzzle blast damaged his hand, which if that was the case, that still is assault with a deadly weapon, because if I hurt you, I don't have to severely cripple you. Just like with attempted murder, I don't have to actually almost kill you. I have to try to kill you, or I have to try to cause serious bodily harm. And if I scrape you up and I'm just not successful, that doesn't mean it, I get the benefit of not trying hard or being shitty at it. Oh, Dolly says yes, 1948 for gold. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so
Dolly, you can't. Dolly, you're gonna get in trouble.
Stop it, Dolly. Oh,
they're gonna find you. Yes, gold. Israel was formed in 1948, and the melting temperature of gold is 1948. Once again, this is very much a shh. Don't let them hear you. Court TV's banner says 8:30. Really, they switched it to 8:30 now?
What time is that in
45 minutes
from now?
45 minutes, yes.
Isn't that like past the end of the court day for them?
Yeah. Well, no, because remember, it's only 4:45 there. They are 3 hours behind us. So what we'll do, guys, we'll go back through and we'll cover some of the some of the interesting stuff that happened in the case here real quick. So we'll start with that. The closing arguments when Tacopina and Lewin were fighting with some of the funnier stuff here. So here we go. This is a pretty good example of the attorneys getting into a big shouting match. It was pretty hilarious. All right, so here we go, guys. This is during closing arguments. Remember, closing arguments went for a couple of days, and this is from last week. And if you guys, as I talked about before, there was no court yesterday because it was President's Day. So courts were closed. But this is Tacopina. And if you guys don't understand who that is, Joe Tacopina. This is, well, here's ASAP Rocky. Here's Tacopina, his lead attorney. He's represented a lot of people, including Trump and other personalities, does a lot of high-profile criminal defense work. And this is Prosecutor Lewin, Assistant District Attorney Lewin, and he's the one who's going to sound like a big bitch here coming up. So here we go.
To the jury, my objection you find annoying. It's very clear that the tone that we get when we make an objection that should be sustained is, what are you doing? That's what was said. You specifically
lower your voice and don't yell at me. I told you before. I'll listen to what you say. Speak in a normal tone of voice.
Judge, we're doing the best we can to make sure that this trial is ethically conducted. They have repeatedly, I've objected, you told me to.
And this is very true here. The judge is, very right to tell this guy, just say what your problem is. You don't have to yell at this point because now you're yelling at the judge and the judge isn't going to take it. But here we go.
Improper. You overruled repeated objections where they are saying improper things. He just said a moment ago, this is a direct quote, the prosecution accepts their witness committing perjury. I object. You respond, that's appropriate comment on the evidence. It is not appropriate comment on the evidence, Your Honor. I don't know if you didn't hear it.
I didn't hear that.
So, Judge,
what I heard, I could be wrong, what I heard was that Mr. Tacopina was describing Relly as committing perjury.
Judge, that's a direct quote. The direct quote was, the prosecution accepts their witness committing perjury. Here's another.
And the reason why Tacopina said during his closing that the prosecution accepts their witness committed perjury is that they put Relly up there knowing he was going to make statements they know weren't true. And they knew were going to be contradicted by the detectives and by other evidence that gets presented. And they still put him up there. And the thing is, chat, when you put a witness up there, you're basically vouching for that person. Unless it's clear you're going to get him declared hostile and impeach him right away. They put Relly up there because they thought he was a credible witness. They thought he was telling the truth. If they didn't think Relly was telling the truth, you don't put him up there. So, yes, and also, if you guys also remember, when the state did their closing arguments, they accused the defense of coaching witnesses, which, once again, you're basically suborning perjury. So the state is crying that turnabout was fair play.
Relly committed extortion. There is no legal.
And the extortion argument is that Relly committed extortion. If you guys are new and you weren't here before, ASAP Relly told Rocky, "Give me $30 million or I'm going to the police." That was what he said. I need $30 million or I'm going to the cops. So it was a shakedown. And Tacopina called it extortion. And the prosecutor's crying, saying, well, it's not actually legal extortion. And that's where we get from here.
How is that not extortion?
What?
How is that not extortion?
Well, his argument is, well, you didn't actually prove it's extortion. It's not a real, like, it wasn't 100% done as the crime of extortion, is their argument.
Okay.
It's just him being a crybaby. This is another case of a prosecutor not liking the fact that they're not entitled to a fair trial.
No,
So just listen to him cry for a bit, Chad.
Yeah.
Extortion. There is no legal.
Do you think the jury's going to ask for what the legal description of extortion is?
Your Honor.
Forcing someone to pay money, that is, quote, extortion.
No, Your Honor.
Go on to something else.
I want to make my record. I mean, you're going to do what you're going to do, but I have a right to make my record. No lawyer can get up here. No lawyer can get up here and tell the jury that a crime has been committed when there is no instruction on that crime. When in fact,
why can't I? Like, that's the funny part. This guy committed a crime. I can have a witness say you did something. Do you realize that's illegal?
Mm.
Like, if a witness came there and said, "Oh, I murdered somebody," what? Like, is the prosecutor really going to say, "Oh, that's not proven"? That it's not the crime in the case at hand? No, I'm allowed to demonstrate that people have committed crimes or that people have done wrongdoing. This is just, oh my gosh.
Yeah, if you said, "Do you realize that's a crime?" That's
I've had people on the stand admit to crimes before. People are retarded. I'll admit to all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, but just using the wording, "Do you realize that's a crime, sir?" That's not saying he did commit a crime.
No, like, would you agree? Do you understand that's a crime in the state of Ohio to,
Yeah. That's
sign off
perfectly
checks
reasonable,
when you know they're
surely.
not yours? So, but anyways, we're gonna let him keep going for a minute.
Your Honor, that's not the legal definition of extortion. We've objected, and the court again is basically telling me, "Don't worry about it. It doesn't matter." Your Honor, it does matter. After a while, when there are so many of these things, they add up. And when the court is saying, "Well, what they don't care about it."
No, I didn't say they don't care about it.
It's Your Honor. It's improper argument. And the problem is
I don't agree with you. I think using the word, quote, extortion to describe the conduct is not improper. I think it's fair comment on the evidence. You, in your rebuttal argument, you can say it wasn't extortion.
Your
You
Honor,
can address it.
Your Honor, the bigger issue, as I said, is the court was repeatedly told them, do not connect the prosecution to committing crime.
I'll tell you what, I didn't hear that. I'm going to ask Kathy for the exact quote. If that's what was said, I'm going to sustain your objection, and I will apologize for overruling.
Judge, respond, please, on that one issue, not
Yeah.
everything else you said. What I said was, and I agree with what I said, but understand the context of it, okay? But I didn't say this is more perfect. I didn't say it yesterday, I didn't say it today. But one thing I said, and it was fair comment, was the prosecution accepts their witness committed perjury. And what I mean by that is in regards to one thing, and it's indisputable, Your Honor. It was regarding Relly saying the tape was fake. The tape was fake. They got up, cross-examined Mr. Sajemi, did not ask him if the tape was fake or not. Okay? They then put up transcripts of that tape recording with attributions to Mr. Efron. So that means just by that very fact, they accept the fact that he committed perjury. I'm not saying they support it, but they accept that witness committed perjury. They have to. Let me finish. There's no other way for them to move forward unless they say that wasn't perjury, but it was because he said that was fake. We know it wasn't fake. It was real. That was perjury. So by then moving forward with it, arguing that the tape is important for the prosecution, that Efron said these things, that when they cross-examined Mr. Jemmy, that wasn't being a good friend, Efron just made a tape. All that is doing is, I'd say this is warning. It's different. I would never say that. I didn't say it yesterday. What it is doing is accepting it because they didn't say, we have an issue with this witness, he's committed perjury. It's I said they accepted their witnesses committing perjury. That witness committing perjury on that one issue. That's fair comment, Your Honor. It's not inappropriate. It wasn't disparaging counsel. I didn't say Mr. Lewin. I just said they accepted, and that is true. That there's no other way around it.
It is not fair comment. It is completely unethical.
Oh,
I agree with you.
So, Your Honor,
I agree with you.
what's frightening is Mr. Tacopina just stood up here and basically defended.
Here's a big thing, and I said this before when we watched it live. When you're making a point in the court, the judge looks at you and says, I agree with you. Stop. Stop. The judge just said, I agree with you. He said it twice. I agree with you. And look what he keeps on doing. Just no, you've won. Just take the dub. There's no need to keep going. Leave well enough alone.
To be clear, they were about to leave for the day, right?
Yes, this is at the end of the day. Yes,
Yeah,
week.
that's why Rocky's standing up.
Yeah.
And he had his jacket on. Tacopina had his jacket on, and he takes his jacket off, like kind of in frustration, because this is continuing to go on.
Yes.
And Rocky sort of left there standing there looking a bit weird.
Well, it's at the end of the day, he's stand up, stretching out a little bit. There's nothing wrong with that.
I know, but like he's the only one left standing because they're still arguing.
Yeah. Shree says, did we miss a verdict yet? Nope. Is it down below? The verdict is not till 8:30 Eastern. We're watching clips from the trial until then, chat.
I didn't say jacking off, Tony Galati.
Paige M says, according to Kathy Rusin from Law and Crime, she's on Twitter. She's reporting that Rihanna has arrived.
Is that what we've been waiting for? Really?
Yes. Yes.
Really?
Well, he has the right to have his family there.
Does he?
Got Staples out of my head. Damn, people did watch a stupid 9-minute video of me bitching. Wow, just wow. Yeah, well, staples are not fun to get removed. And always remember when shut up when you get the W from the court. I agree. Yes, don't ever.
Oh, they're live. They're live.
Oh, they're live. They're live. Okay.
Yep.
All right, chat. They're live. So, well, who knows what that means actually?
On Law and Crime.
Well, hold on here. So, well, is this not what they're showing on Law and Crime?
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll link you.
All right, hold on here. We gotta switch over.
There you go.
Is going to give the verdict forms to juror number 1. Juror number 1.
Oh, wait, it stopped.
I want you to look at the verdict forms, and I'm going to want to know whether these verdict forms reflect your true and correct verdicts. Juror 2, I'd like you to look over her shoulder so you can review the verdict forms. And I want to know from you whether these are your true and correct verdicts. Once I've heard from both of you, give the verdict forms to juror number 3. Juror 3, look at the verdict forms. Juror 4, look over her shoulder. So ultimately, I'm going to want to hear from all 12 of you whether these verdict forms reflect your individual true and correct verdicts. Everybody understand? All right. You gotta put these two.
Chat, we haven't. Guys, we haven't missed anything. They're reviewing the verdict forms. We haven't missed anything yet.
No, it's all good.
Juror number 1, are those your true and correct verdicts? Juror number 2?
Yes.
Juror 3 and 4? Juror 5 and 6?
Let's see, chat. Let's see.
Juror 5, are those your true and correct verdicts? Yes. Juror 6? All right, let's get it.
All right, hold on, chat. We're going to switch back over to Court TV. They're here now.
These verdict forms reflect your individual true and correct verdicts. Everybody understand? All right. You got it? These two different ones.
Here we go,
Juror
chat.
number 1, are those your two correct verdicts? Juror number 2?
Yes.
Juror 3 and 4?
Yes.
Juror 5 and 6? Juror 5, are those your two correct verdicts?
Yes.
Juror 6?
Yes.
All right, let's get the verdict forms to Juror 7. Juror 8, look over your shoulder.
Just hang tight, guys. We're waiting. We're waiting.
Juror number 7, those are your two correct verdicts?
Hi, come here, Papa.
Juror 7?
Yes.
Juror 8?
Yes.
9 and 10?
Act like I don't want to hang out.
Juror 9?
Yes.
Juror 10?
Yes.
11 and 12. Juror 11?
Yes.
Juror 12?
Yes.
All right, all jurors have stated that the verdict forms reflect their individual true correct verdicts. Alex, read please.
Yes, Your Honor.
Here we go. Here we go.
The Los Angeles Superior Court, County of Los Angeles. People of the State of California versus Joaquin Mayers, case number BA 508142-01. We, the jury in the above entitled action, find the defendant, Joaquin Mayers, not guilty of
Get rally. Balloon.
Hold down. Verdict has to be read. Yes.
Repeat again, we, the jury, above entitled actions, find the defendant, Joaquin Mayers, not guilty of the semi-automatic firearm in violation of Penal Code Section 245, Section B, a felony. Starting count 1 of the information, this 18th day of February 2025, jury seat number 9, 4%.
All right,
Title, court and cause. We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant, Joaquin Mayers, not guilty of the crime of firearm in violation of Penal Code Section 245, Section B, a felony of charging count 2 of the information this 18th day of February 2025, juror seat number 9, 4%.
during this trial, I watched you periodically. You did what we asked of you at the very beginning, which is to give both sides a fair trial, pay attention, use your common sense, apply the law, and base your verdict on the evidence. I know you took extensive notes, and you took this as seriously as any jury could. We cannot have jury trials without folks like you. So you certainly have my gratitude. I want to extend to you my best wishes. Again, thank you. The admonition to not discuss the case no longer applies. You can talk about the case with anybody you want to, or nobody if you don't want to. Alex has your certificates of completion. You can take your juror badges with you. Thank you again. You are excused.
Everybody remain seated in the public. We're gonna let the jurors walk out first.
There we go, chat. There we go.
Right, E-Man, it's very gay.
Thank you.
Wow, that's awesome.
So, did Judge forget to give them the instruction, everyone the instruction to not react? Usually Judge says, you know, everyone just not show emotion.
Mm-hmm. Well, there we go, chat. There we go.
We have a new court jumper.
All right, the jury is left. The bond is exonerated. Mr. Mayers, excused.
Back row.
Oh, where's Lizzie? Oh.
Well, there we go, chat.
Damn it.
Let's see. I don't know if there's going to be any sort of if there's going to be any press conferences or anything like that. There probably will be, but we'll see. We'll see shortly. So yes, isn't it funny? As soon as it's over, Lewin just walks right on out.
Yeah.
Oh well, I'll go home and he'll go home and just cook a dinner. That's the neat thing when you're a prosecutor. You go home, it doesn't matter.
No.
Guy goes, isn't great. I'm going home. Guy is acquitted. I'm going home. So there we go. Shree says, how much time had he been facing? Worst case scenario, up to 24 years, but more likely like 8 to 9 years in prison, probably. At least the prosecution would ask for, but anywhere from like 8 to 9 years to probation. So the 8 to 9 years is the more realistic thing, I guess, given his lack of a record and everything. So, but yeah, there we go, chat. It worked out the way it should have, and I was worried it wasn't, but it did. So yeah, but
he wasn't guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. They actually understood that. So
yes. But as they know they're gonna like it because the hood gonna love it. I know that's not an A$AP Rocky song, but still, I'm sure the hood's loving it tonight. Tim the Tool says Shantae lawyer doesn't deserve jail. Well, thank you. I think. Now just Jam saying, is there anything off the Afroman lawsuit? No, there's some hearings that are coming up, but I reached out to his attorney down in Southern Ohio, and I have not, he hasn't returned my call, and I called and emailed, so I think he's kind of like a case I have, where I'm like, sorry, no comment. I just don't think he's calling me back. Totally understand. Trump 1 says free Ricada, free A$AP. The jury got paid off. Now, I don't know about that. Yes, Alyssa Marie says he jumped like that guy who attacked the judge. Yes, he did.
Yes, that's what I thought. Like, we have a new court jumper. Right?
Yeah, that was epic. But you know what? Dude, man, that dude, that's true emotion right there. Jumped over and hugged his wife or baby mom, whatever you want. I don't know. Are they married? I should probably give them proper. I should probably give them their proper titles here. Let's see here.
De facto or something.
Robin Rihanna Fenty. Her name's Fenty, like Fenty.
Yeah, it is Fenty.
Partners. Yeah, they're not married. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So
imagine how much these jurors are going to make.
Oh yeah, they'll be able to give interviews and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
They are gonna be.
Shredder S is saying these lawyers getting paid for show. Oh, 100% they're gonna get paid. And you know what though, guys? This is the thing. Like when you win cases, like if you get if I go to trial and I can win, or I get a hung jury, or I get a pretty decent result and we get some lesser included, word gets around, hey, this guy just won a cup. This guy just had a pretty decent trial. People call you. People reach out to you. For Tacopina, though, this is another one he gets to put up on his wall. Represented Trump, A$AP Rocky, boom, got A$AP Rocky acquitted. And a guy from the East Coast, he came and played an away game and won. So yeah, those are things that that's dudes out there making the bucks. Trump 1 says, serving on a jury as one of your most important responsibilities as a free man. I agree. It is one of your most important duties as a free man. So,
and not often taken that seriously, unfortunately.
Yes. And Paige M says, I hope the sanctions hearing is aired, or whatever the judge is going to do about charging them money. I think that's going to go away. I think the judge is going to be like, fuck it, we're done. I don't think that's going to continue. If you guys don't remember, the speaking objections were getting so out of hand, the court was sanctioning the prosecutor or the defense attorney $1,500 per person per speaking objection. And it wasn't going to be like the office could pay it. They were going to have to pay it themselves. So $1,500 a person per speaking objection. And we mentioned this before. A speaking objection is not saying objection hearsay or objection speculation. That's the proper objection you do. A speaking objection is saying, Your Honor, objection speculation. There's no way this guy knows what's going on. There's no way he could have been able to know what was in someone's mind. That's the speaking objection, when you're actually articulating how are you applying that objection to that question. That's the speaking objection. And these guys were fighting back and forth. The judge had already sanctioned them each once $1,500. I think he's just going to let it go, though, if I had to guess. That's a shame, says, going back a little earlier. What are you talking about? That's exactly what trial is, bro. It's talking about the fair trial. That's exactly what is happening here. People are saying people committed a crime is literally all you do all day. It's the only thing you do. That name is coming with a straight fire there. Good to see you, by the way. Glad you're here. Diaz says $5 at Stoney's. I got not guilty. But you only bet $1.99, so you don't really have $5 in. And then Diaz says, woohoo! Yes, I agree. Let's see. Demon's Wrath says, don't prosecutors have broad levels of immunity from prosecutorial misconduct? Yes. And here's the thing. Lewin really didn't, this wasn't anything a court would call prosecutorial misconduct on an appeal, so he's fine. That's not going to be a problem for him. The one thing I will say, had Rocky been convicted, objecting nearly 15 times during closing arguments probably would be a basis for getting things overturned, because that is very prejudicial. So that could easily be the case there. Let's see if there's going to be an ASAP Rocky press conference. Let's see if there's anything like that coming up here. Okay, yeah, we do have one set up outside the LA courthouse. Somebody's already there.
You have a short verdict.
So here we go. And we'll have that ready when it's time. It's time.
Nice.
Yes. So downtown LA, chat, LA. Emily, and the funny thing is, this is Emily Baker's old stomping grounds. She used to be a assistant district attorney for the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office. And she actually knows Lewin. And she said she can't really watch it because she knows the people involved. And it's hard to watch when you're doing that. And I understand that. If there happened to be a case here where I was watching the people I knew, that would be really tough to watch. I probably wouldn't be able to do it. How long till he releases a record titled "I Did That Shit"? That would be hilarious.
If I did
that would be hilarious.
Shit.
or it'd be funny if he did one where he's got like a smoking gun. He'd be like, "This one ain't a prop." Lewin should be fired. I think he should be disciplined. He kind of did some racist shit in that. Like I said, the way he treated 12 was kind of racist. But it was very embarrassing. It was a very embarrassing display by him. I can now safely poop. Yes. Look
at this chick doing a TikTok.
Oh, there was a chick on there doing a TikTok?
Yeah.
Oh, on the screen. Yeah, well.
Yeah.
Trey Lovell, a legal analyst. Well, I got some legal analysis for you guys. See, and I'm not wearing my tie today.
Analysis.
Do real nibbas even like ASAP? I don't know. Nice hoodie. Does the judge let you wear it? I wish I could wear a hoodie in court. God, it was so cold today still. We must read the Russell Greer updates, pretty please. That'll be something we'll work on at the end of the week. Skinny says, what did Afro Man do? So Afro Man, his house got illegally raided by the sheriff's office in Southern Ohio, and he recorded them on camera stealing money from his house. They stole part of the pound cake out of his kitchen, and they destroyed his security camera system. And he recorded all of that, and he proceeded to make an entire album of songs mocking the officers for being pieces of shit. And they sued him because they have little puffy vaginas that got scuffed up at the first hint of a the first grain of sand bouncing off their vaginas, and they got all impacted. So that's what happened there. Yamal says, have you seen any more District Comp's Trump coverage in the over? Yes, I've been watching Chad normie lawyers in the cut. Well, if they're Chad, they really can't be normies. And the coverage isn't just as good. No, we'll be doing Trump stuff tomorrow because, guys, Trump has already gone to SCOTUS with the special counsel case involving Hampton Dellinger. The special counsel has till tomorrow to respond. So I don't want to cover it tonight, because if we cover it tonight, we're missing half the story. And there have been some feltings. These TROs are going down in flames, chat. The Emperor of Mankind stands resolute. I can tell you that much.
He didn't say puppy vaginas. He said puffy vaginas.
Yes, puffy vaginas, not puppy.
Not puppy.
Yes, puffy. That's
Yes.
Queen Fenty, Sean. Well, excuse me. Yes, please keep up with the black community. Sorry. Robert Gouveia is both Chad and Normie. See, Robert Gouveia is pretty Chad. I like Robert Gouveia. I've only had a chance to be on something live with him once, and I'd love an opportunity to be on with him again. Robert Gouveia is he's slick dude. I like Robert Gouveia a lot. So yes, the TROs. Oh no, they're burning. Oh no, it's broken. Oh. Skinny says they stole his cake. Yes. This really big fat deputy known as Deputy Pound Cake walked over and there was pound cake sitting on his table. And we're going to probably go over this when we get we have an update. Walked over and he opened up the pound cake and was really thinking about taking a piece of pound cake. So no, it literally happened. It literally happened there. So Robert Gouveia is very impressive. Gouveia has me muted in chat. Well, Robert, I will say Robert is a consummate professional. And I mean that with all sincerity and respect to him because he's very good at what he does, runs an amazing channel, makes it happen with his Watching the Watchers. If I could do it half as good as him, I'd be thrilled. So he's somebody I see and I try to not necessarily copy what he does, but recognize what he does and see if I can work that for myself. You're my top guy. Well, thank you. Robert Gouveia is a Fed boy. No, he was a defense attorney. He wasn't a Fed. So, the ASAP lawyers are up.
Where?
Somebody says ASAP lawyers. Where? Oh, I thought it meant somebody was up there. Okay. Let me see here. Is there any other? Let's see if there's an ASAP Rocky press conference. Oh yeah, here we go.
Oh.
Yeah, here we go.
Yay!
Come back.
Thank you so much, guys. This is perfect.
All right, here we go, chat. This is coming up. All right, I think we're getting ready. Here, they're coming out. They're coming out, chat. Here we go.
I wonder if Riri will be there.
Oh, I'm sure she will. She'll be like, I love my baby daddy. All right, here we go, chat.
Everyone just head towards that way because you're heading towards the microphone. Move over. So move on. Yeah. Move to your left.
Okay, so they're telling them they want to clear people out. So there we go.
Oh, right.
What if Wally's waiting out in the bushes with a Glock?
Well, it's just a prop gun.
Yes. Yamal says, is that LAX? No, that's the LA County Courthouse. Oh, hold on. I guess it's time, chat. I guess it's time again.
We gotta rush through you guys. Yeah. Back up. Give me this wall right here. It's imaginary wall. That's all it has. Just so we can safely get to the microphone.
On the side.
Calm down.
Goddamn reporters and goddamn paparazzi won't get out of the way.
Jesus Christ.
So, bring out the queen. Bring out Riri. Relly's out in the bushes with one of my knives. I haven't been to this courthouse. I didn't leave a knife out there. So, that's the thing. But look at all the press, chat. Robert Gouveia is your only other YouTube membership. All right, well, here we go. I guess it's time.
No, push it! Congratulations! Congrats! Back up! Where am I going? It's a war.
This is just crap.
The mics are right here, guys. The mics are right here. The mics are right here.
Stay back. No. I fuck up! Back up! Back up! Back up! Back up! Yo, give him respect! Back up, guys! Hey! Down!
All right, chat. We're gonna see if we can find someone else here. Hold on.
Nonetheless, I'm thankful and we're blessed to be here right now. Be a free man talking to y'all. Thank you. All praise to God.
All right, chat. We're trying to. Sorry, chat. We're trying to.
Guys, look, guys. Guys, we can't do this. We'll just have to leave. But listen, guys,
Yo, Rocky, you free party rally, bro.
Relax.
Put your arms down. No, you order on me.
Guys, bottom line is we're grateful for the jury. They saw through this mirage of a case. We said from day one he was innocent. He turned down a plea for almost no jail time because he was innocent. And I've always said this was an extortion. The extortion played out live in color in court. You know, we've always said what it says is that the district attorney should look long and hard at prosecuting Tyrell Efron. We've said that from day one.
Yes.
We've said that from day one. They should do it now. They have him admitting to perjury. They have him committing extortion. The jury saw through it and came to an enormously quick and speedy verdict, the right verdict, and we thank this jury. And again, for me, my partner Chad, we're honored to have represented this amazing family. Rocky is one of my closest friends, but he's also just a great person. Rihanna, they are seriously the greatest people, and I said I love them, and I really do love them, and I got emotional in my summation because I care about them. This is one of the happiest days of my life, and I'm happy for them because they've earned this and deserve it.
Get this guy on all
Thank you, bro. Okay, guys.
Get this guy all that.
Oh my God. Wait.
This is the camera stand. Back up.
Congratulations, Mama. Congratulations. Mama, they're putting on the shirt. They're putting on the shirt.
It's got a really good protection detail. They're doing a pretty good job. They got a lot of people to watch right now, but he's got a good detail.
Show him private chat.
Well, there we go, chat.
Sure. Private chat.
So this is the Fox 29 feed, you guys.
Okay. I don't know which Fox it is, but I've got a bit of a better one, I think.
Okay, let me see here.
Yeah.
It's over, I think, on that one. So we'll stay.
Yeah,
we'll
but
stay
go
where we're
backwards a
at.
bit.
Yeah. Let's see if we can bring something up here.
I even got a shot of Rihanna.
Yep. Yep. So there we go, chat. He's riding off into the sunset. Let's see if this one gives us any better look of the when they're talking.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see if we can find Tacopina and Rocky talking. Let me see here. No, that really doesn't do us much any better. Sorry. So we'll just stick with what we got, chat. We'll stick with what we got. Anyways, guys, Rocky is free. Free man is free. Yes, not guilty. All counts. You know, as Jay-Z says, not guilty. Y'all got to feel me. You know, Rocky went up there, man. He was dodging them charges like Rocky. Literally. He was ducking them left and right.
Wait. Do we have... Oh, no. I just thought that we went back and we might have heard from the prosecution, but no.
Are they going to tell me, like, Relly did something? But no, yeah, all the press are really upset because of all the goddamn influencers and TikTokers and YouTubers showing up in the middle of that. That was hilarious. It was
pathetic.
Carla, yeah, not guilty, all counts. Rocky is done. So, Princess Riri. How much do you think his lawyers are going to make, says Adam? Been remember 6 months. Oh, I mean, like, they've already been getting paid. Like, it's not like they've been working for like 3 years on this. They don't just give him a bill now. They've been paying on this. I'm sure Tacopina made a couple mil on this. Easy. And I'm sure Rocky would easily pay a couple mil on this. I'm sure Rihanna, she'd cut a check for $20 million without blinking if it was going to save him. I'm sure there's probably at least $5-6 million on this.
Do you think there'd be like a bonus at the end?
It's up to Rocky. I could see him doing that. I could see him. I mean, if I did, like, if I won a case like that, and I was Rocky, I'd be like, man, here's some for your troubles. Yeah, sure. But also now that's a client. That's a referral. You got problems? Yeah. Check this dude out. So.
Yeah, it's kind of like Sparrow.
I promise it's a hung jury. Yeah, I thought that was going to happen, but yeah. So ASAP Taco for the win. That's what they said. They called him ASAP Joe. If you didn't hear that, Rocky said ASAP Joe, which is hilarious. But yes, that was the best verdict reaction ever. Oh yeah, that was amazing. And we're gonna go back and watch that again real quick, chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, really wanted Riri's money, but he ain't got nothing. That's correct. That is correct. He got felted, goose egged. Monster kill. So, yes, enjoy not going to prison, Rocky. Oh, but yes, we're gonna go back, chat, because if you guys did not see the verdict, it was actually a pretty like heartwarming thing to see the verdict here. So we're gonna go back to this real quick, chat. Hold on. All right, so here we go. See if I can find the spot we're at. All right, hold on, chat. All right, chat. If you guys did not see it, we're gonna watch it again. Just got to get the feels in this chat because it's all about the feels. It's all about the feels. So here we go. Here we go.
Tier 11?
Yes.
Tier 12?
Yes.
All right, all jurors have stated that the verdict forms reflect their individual, true, correct verdicts. Alex, read it.
Yes, Your Honor. The Los Angeles Superior Court, County of Los Angeles. People of the State of California versus Joaquin Mayers. Case number BA 508142-01.
This is like, I know Tacopina thinks they won, but I'll tell you, man, even if it's a bullshit misdemeanor, this is like the height of intensity. Just like I know you guys are sitting here thinking it's intense watching it. When you're standing there and you're shoulder to shoulder with your client, like when this happens, like when I'm in court, like I'm right there with my client. You know, a lot of attorneys that might just stand there, like I actually stand right there next to them. Like I'm right there with them. Sometimes you got an arm around them, whatever it is, and you're just waiting. But like this is I don't know how to explain to you the amount of intensity that's there, and it's not anxiety, it's anticipation. And you're just like you're just sitting there waiting. You're like it's a tripwire ready to go.
The jury, the above entitled action, find the defendant, Joaquin Mayers, not guilty.
And that's the thing. They're crying. Like, I've cried on a verdict before. Like, you get a tear or two, but like this guy right here, second chair, you know, he's got a bit of a tear. He kind of like blinked it away, but like I've had that happen. When you get a verdict like that, man, it is, you know, it's. But I've also had it happen before when you get a verdict and you're just sitting there, you're kind of like, you're like, wait, did he say guilty or not guilty? Because you're just so you're just so like, your mind's going a million miles an hour. And you look over your client's smiling, and you're like, oh, fuck, we got it. We got it. I had that happen once. I looked over at my guy, and he's like sitting there smiling and crying, and I'm like, oh, I guess we didn't. I guess we did win.
Yeah. Who's the blonde?
That's I think it's just another member of the legal team. It's another member.
Okay, because he hugged her first, and then he was like,
yeah,
"Oh shit!"
That happens too. I've had people
there.
like I've had my clients hug me before. You know, you're the person right there because they, you know, like in the real world, because this is Hollywood, chat. You don't just, if you hopped over the bench like that, the judge would probably be get ready to chew your ass out.
Yeah.
You know, your family's back there. There's only so much you could do. Like I've had to, you know, hug it out with a client for a minute. It happens. But let's go back through and watch that.
Yeah. He fell over. More than jumping.
He kind of jumped in there.
Yeah, he jumped, but then he like fell over chairs.
Takapina's probably like, you gotta fucking chill out for half a second, buddy.
Dude.
Takapina's probably like great, but he's also kind of mortified. Like, brother, like we need to chill.
Dude.
Because Takapina's also told him we have to beat the rest of the charges.
Oh yeah, there's that.
The jury, above any type of action, find the defendant, Rakeem Mayers, not guilty of semi-automatic firearm in violation of Penal Code Section.
And that count 2 is being found not guilty of using a semi-automatic firearm. So Rocky's now beat all the dangerous charges. He's beat everything that's scary. That's why they were hugging, but that's why Takapina was like, we're not done yet. You can still lose.
Yeah.
Because getting convicted of count 2 would have been just as bad. It would have been really bad. So, you know, like, and I understand Rocky's logic. If I won on count 1, I probably won on them all. But remember, there's 2 counts of being used with the firearm. The first time, and then the second time. But now that's why they're hugging. Like, that's not uncommon. When shit gets real tough.
Section 245, Section B, a felony charging count 1 of the information. This 18th day of February 2025, jury seat number 9, 4%. All right, title for the cause. We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant, Rakeem Mayers, not guilty of the crime of assault with firearm in violation of Penal Code Section 245, Section B, a felony of charging count 2 of the information. This 18th day of February 2025, juror seat number 9, 4%.
During this trial, I watched you periodically. You did what we asked of you at the very beginning, which is to give both sides a fair trial, pay attention, use your common sense, apply the law, base your verdict on the evidence. I know you took extensive notes, and you took this.
There we go, chat.
We can't.
Mo, I'm not tearing up. I'm fine.
And Yamal, you're right. Count 2 would likely be a lid at most. Yeah, but still, do you want to go to jail for any bit of time? No. Like, that's the thing. That's the thing. Like, oh, it's not a lot, but like, yeah, it'd be bad. It would be bad regardless.
Yeah.
Android. Ooh, you're talking there. New ways is saying, damn, Camille's wifey material, but not anymore. Well, there you go.
I didn't see it.
Android says Hampton already responded. Well, I already said we're doing Karen Reed, so we'll do Hampton tomorrow night. Hampton Dellinger. And somebody asked, could Trump have pardoned Rocky? No. It's a state level crime, so Trump has no authority to pardon for a state level offense. It would have to be Governor Gavin Newsom that does that.
Well, that was fun.
So, how much was the final total for sanctions, DK? The judge, when he said, like, I'm marking it down, he marked each one of them down for one apiece that we know of. Maybe more, because he might have kept track on his own. So we'll see. We'll see. We will see. But yeah, Rocky, complete, total victory. Total rally death.
Yes, Rally's going to seethe.
Yes, DSS told you. Yeah, well.
You never know.
You know, it's always heartening when a jury treats a burden of proof seriously and the weight demands it. Now, Norfolk County, Massachusetts, on the other hand. Yeah, we'll see. Karen Reed, yes. Tia Nana says Rihanna thought she was getting another beatdown for a minute. Oh no, chat.
Tia Nana. Ouch.
Yes, that is true. Oh God. Oh God.
Oh.
Yes.
All right, I'm gonna dip out.
Okay.
Karen Reed, not my bag.
All right, Hella. Well, thank you for being here. Thanks for joining us.
That was fun, man.
Yes, it was. Good result today. Good result today.
It's nice that we had a nice result for once.
Yes.
It doesn't happen that often.
Yes.
Thank you. It's been a pretty cool trial to watch, actually.
Oh, I think so too. It was a good one. You see how shitty the state can be at times. So.
Oh well, that's not unusual, but yeah.
Yeah.
Have a good result. Quite good. Thank you very much. Bye, chat. Have a good one. I'll see you around.
Bye, Hella. Take care.
Bye. You too.
Yeah. All right, guy. Do you need here? There you go. All right. So Jefferson Post says for $2, the ADAs could cope and seethe over donuts now. Yes. Very true. Mark says, what are the odds that the state goes after Relly now? None. They're not going to go after him. Like that would look really bad going after a victim in a shooting. Like it's just not a good look. Not a good look. Yamal says they're at the Clarice Shortridge Foltz Criminal Justice Center. Yes. And that is the main courthouse for the main county courthouse in Los Angeles County. So that is where OJ, Phil Spector, like everything, Suge Knight, CeeLo Green, like everybody. Roman Polanski had a trial here. Harvey Weinstein. You know, everybody has their trial here. Danny Masterson, like everybody. So that is what happened there. Snoop is saying that Trump is doing an interview. He should do interviews with Tucker and ignore Hamitard. Yes, I hate Sean Hannity, but yeah, he gets enough views, I guess. So sucks to suck. Alex Silva, good to see you. Thank you for being here. Welcome. I think I've seen you around before, but if you haven't, welcome to the show. Did you see the press conference? The lawyer told everybody to get back or they're going to walk out. The news crew couldn't even get a shot of the presser. Yes, but that's the advent of people like me, YouTubers and people like that going out there and causing problems. You're like, oh, sorry. Whoops a doodle. Didn't mean to do that there. You know, they're like, oh, like I'm just going to squeeze in right there. SB Sellers says, can Rocky sue Relly? Not really. You know, you have testimonial privilege, so things you say in trial are not defamation. Could he sue for abuse of process? I don't really know that's going to go for him. At the end of the day, Relly has destroyed his career. Relly snitched out Rocky. Everybody knows Relly's a bitch. And everybody knows Relly's a fucking liar. So Relly lit his career on fire. So Relly's got nothing. He ain't got no job. He ain't got no settlement. He's just a broke-ass motherfucker. That's the best revenge some days. Some days a revenge is a life well lived. And in the meantime, Rocky's going to hang out with Rihanna with their $1 billion. He's probably going to have her pop out another kid or two. Rocky's going to go make more fucking albums. Rocky's going to go around the world and tour. And Relly ain't got shit. There you go. That's a pretty good outcome. Duncan Idaho's been a member for 11 months. Regarding Karen Reed, one of the things that bugs me out about the other law tubers is their inability to call evil by its name, especially when the prosecutor lies or makes motions they couldn't possibly believe. That's just a difference of how we do stuff. I know some people, well, part of it is some people are a little more mild-mannered than me. Shocker. Some people are a little more chill than me, but doesn't mean they're wrong. It's just, it's also part of the reason why they're a lot bigger and I'm only, I'm scraping and bouncing off 25,000 subs. That's part of the reason why there's only right now like 400 people here on YouTube, because I'm not doing it a certain way. So, there's a way to do it, but then also it's just like, is it working? Is it not working? I don't know. So and besides, most of the people I know that are a lot of tubers are covering Karen Reed. I don't particularly have an issue with the way they cover it. I know some of you may not like other people, but no, I generally get along with everybody. DS says squeeze right in there. Sounds like sand on a fupa. No, I'm just gonna squeeze right in here. Oh, all right, chat. Well, Rocky has won. And now we're gonna move on to Karen Reed. Karen Reed. A standing trial for second-degree murder in the state of Massachusetts. Karen Reed is accused of killing her boyfriend, John O'Keefe, in a snowstorm a couple years ago. And you're like, wait, how did she do it? Well, the prosecution's theory is that she took her car, a big old Lexus SUV, and she dropped John off at a house in the middle of a snowstorm where they were going to go party and drink. And Karen, at some point, and John's standing right here, and Karen has her car. And here's Karen's car. And Karen backs up into John hard enough to knock him into the snow, knock him out. Doesn't break his arm, doesn't break his skull, doesn't cause any actual severe trauma, but injures John to the point where he's incapacitated. John falls down into a snowbank. I mean, it's snowing like 6 inches over the course of 6 hours, so pretty heavy snowfall. John is found later in the morning, about 6 a.m. John is very hypothermic, and at that point, John succumbs to the hypothermia as the primary cause of death. And Karen is charged with striking him. There's a why belief Karen was intoxicated at the time, according to the prosecution, and that Karen was mad that John, she was very suspicious of John, very jealous, and thinks that John may have been stooping on her. So basically, the argument is Karen's a complete lunatic, and that's what happened to her. So Karen has already stood trial for this case. She went to trial in June of this past year and into July. I mean, it was May and June. It was an 8-week trial. It was fucking excruciating to sit through, but we covered the whole thing. Karen Reed got a hung jury, and it turns out the jury was, according to some jurors, said they were willing to acquit on the second-degree murder and the leaving a scene while in an OVI, but the middle count of manslaughter was something they couldn't agree on, and allegedly was like 9-3 for guilty. We don't really know. It's not 100% clear. But Karen is back in the retrial phase, and they're getting ready again. So if you guys are new, that is the entire thing. Yes, she threw a dog at him. Yes, well, and guys, if you going through the trial, there's all kinds of things of, how did John die and how did his wounds match up? A lot of fuckery from the police departments involved. So the local police department collected blood samples with solo cups, for example. The Massachusetts State Police, the actual detectives investigating it, of the 3 main detectives, 2 of them are on administrative leave, and one of them's been fired. The second one might get fired, and the third one's just been on administrative leave and punished for their conduct during the investigations and during the trial. So we'll see. And yes, in the meantime, this judge is a complete insufferable bitch of a human being. But hey, c'est la vie. That's what you got. It's what you got. So here we go. We are going to cover this. This is a pretrial motion hearing that was held. And they talk about a couple different motions to compel discovery. There's a bunch of things that are going on. and we're going to take advantage of that here, chat. So let's get started on this. And if you guys don't know who Karen is, this is Karen. And then this guy here is John O'Keefe. He was a Boston police officer, so that is who he is. So here we go. Don't forget the pig saliva or whatever. Oh, there's like a million things that were wrong with this. That the marks on John's arms indicate that a pig attacked him. There was pig saliva and pig DNA, not a dog. All the witnesses at this house John O'Keefe was supposed to go to, they all mysteriously destroyed their phones before they could be subpoenaed. One of the people at the party was a ATF agent who broke his phone in half and threw it away on an army base where he worked in the National Guard, and that phone's gone. They did all kinds of retarded shit, and they don't have answers for it all. So weren't the FBI involved? Yes, for a little while. Yes. So anyways, we're going to get going here. Let's go. Let's get into this chat. We're going to speed it up because we don't need to go. And here's the thing, chat. People talk if you're new, people talk at a very slow speed. There's too much pausing. And in the real world, we're going to go a little faster because, well, number one, why not? And number two, I don't want to sit here for 2 whole straight hours if we don't have to. So we're going to get into this chat and we'll slow down if we have to. And see, already we are 15 minutes in. So here you go. Look at that. Look at that. 15 minutes in. 15 minutes in, chat, and we already saved time. That's how good we are here on this channel. Not like those other channels. Not like those other guys' girlfriends. Not like those other rap guys' girlfriends. So. Oh.
Yay. All persons have any business before the Honorable Beverly Willoughby, Justice of the Norfolk Superior Court, and for the County of Norfolk. You are near, give your attendance, and you shall be heard. God save the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
Oh, I forgot about that guy. Hail ye, hail ye, hail ye. All before the Judge Beverly Canoni. Come forward, you shall be heard. I forgot about the hear ye guy. God, the East Coast is so hilarious with the way they do stuff. But here we go.
Court is now open. May be seated.
Judge 22-117, the Commonwealth versus Karen Reed. Can I have counsel identify themselves starting with the Commonwealth?
Good morning, Your Honor. Laura McLaughlin for the Commonwealth.
Morning, Ms. McLaughlin.
Adam Lally for the Commonwealth.
Good morning.
Prosecution chat. Prosecutor Lally. The guy who ran the trial the first time. And look at that bald spot. It's growing. He's got Ricada syndrome, I think. And then here is Hank Brennan. He is the guy the prosecution brought in. They brought in a private attorney to run the case because they fucking got embarrassed last time. So here they are.
Mr. Lally.
Good morning, Your Honor. Hank Brennan for
Good morning, Mr. Brennan.
Good morning, Your Honor. Alan Jackson for the street.
Good morning, Mr. Jackson.
Good morning, Your Honor. Elizabeth Little, also on behalf of the state.
Good morning, Ms. Little.
Morning, Your Honor. Robert Alessi for Ms. Reed.
Good morning, Mr. Alessi.
Good morning, Your Honor. David Unetti for Karen Reed.
Good morning, Mr. Unetti. Good morning, Ms. Reed. All right, I was told counsel wanted to see me at sidebar.
So there we go, chat. They're gonna already go into sidebar. That's sidebar. Remember, they're in Boston. Look, there's Karen. All she can do is just sit there. There we go.
All right, so what I'd like to do is start with, now I don't know if you all have the paper numbers on these. You probably do if you've been looking at Mass Court. So Commonwealth's motion for records, WFXT TV, Boston 25. This is paper 479. Mr. Brennan?
Good morning again, Your Honor.
Good morning.
I spoke to Mr. Albano last week.
So, guys, this is about a motion to compel production of a copy of a video footage surveillance. So here we go.
And again, last night,
okay.
And on behalf of Fox, Boston 25, they're agreeing to my motion in its entirety. They've asked for the courtesy if I could wait until March 1st to receive all of the information. I expect they'll file it with the court.
Okay.
And so with the court's permission, I would ask Your Honor to endorse that agreement. Attorney Albano expresses his regret he couldn't be here. He had another engagement.
Okay. All right, I will. So March 1st before they can get it here? Was that the date you
You'll
said?
have it on or before March 1st.
Okay.
Come here, Clyde. Come here, Bubba.
All right, so that motion is allowed by agreement.
All right, Chet,
and
you don't get them.
the order is right here, Mr. Clerk.
It's a wicked stick motion.
All right. Next, I did amend the scheduling order, so we don't need to hear that anymore, right? And I tried to do it, Ms. Little, to save you from working an entire weekend. You got it early enough to do that, right? On the 10th of February?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. So paper number 483. This is the motion to compel production of a forensically signed copy of the January 29, 2020 video surveillance footage in law enforcement custody. And the opposition, Jim, I don't have a docket number on this. I think it was just filed. The Commonwealth's opposition in response. Do you have a paper number? Okay.
I'm sorry, the opposition sheet.
Defendant's motion to compel production of a forensically sound copy. We'll get started in the argument. You can give me that.
506.
Great, thank you.
That's the response.
Right. Okay. Who's arguing this motion for the defendant?
I am, Your Honor.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor. My comments will be relatively brief. We filed this motion basically because we had no choice. We were following the court's instructions, meeting with Mr. Brennan after court the last hearing, which was the 6th, about the download of the video footage that apparently has been stored, or at least we believed at the time last week, had been stored on some sort of an iCloud. We were told that this was an account of a retired detective, as explained by Mr. Brennan. We met after court. Mr. Brennan told us that we did not need, we told Mr. Brennan that we did not need an expert to fly out and go through all the machinations of having someone present. If all the information was download from some iCloud account, unnamed iCloud account, as long as that was videotaped, we were fine with it. And that was basically the agreement. That was the information that we had.
And chat, they're talking about the video footage that shows Brian Higgins, the ATF agent, wandering around the police station in Canton, Massachusetts at 1:30 in the morning after Karen Reed is allegedly to have struck John O'Keefe and killed him. Why is he wandering on the police station after he was out all night drinking at the bar with John O'Keefe and all the other suspects? A little weird. But they're talking about how that footage is not available. They try to get it off the iCloud, and that's where we go.
At the time. We were predicating that on a conversation that we had with Mr. Brennan in January, I think it was January 22nd. He indicated that he went to Canton PD the same date, and the court will recall December 12th was the date of what I've referred to as sort of the wild goose chase, that we sent an expert out, et cetera. That same afternoon, apparently Mr. Brennan went to the Canton Police Department and found out that there was, in fact, additional video, which was news to us. He claims that it was news to him. And putting aside how odd that is, after 3 years of being told we have everything, he went on to explain in very specific form in a telephone conversation that he had met with a retired detective. At the time, he could not remember the detective's name. He said that the detective believed that he kept a copy of the January 29 video that we were looking for, and that he said that it was on a work computer's iCloud account. Mr. Brennan said that they intended to download it from the iCloud, turn it over, and that's the point at which we said, if you don't mind, just hold on that because we're litigating ultimately this issue, which was the litigation we had on February 6th. So we had the hearing. The day after court on the 6th, after we reached this agreement that the iCloud would just be downloaded and videoed, we received an email from Ms. McLaughlin, and that changed the parameters of what we had believed and what we'd been told by Mr. Brennan, and it sounded more like this. The Commonwealth changed the story from some work computer iCloud account to the footage was being stored on what's called the, quote, department's video file system. It's very different than a retired officer's or a retired detective's work computer's iCloud, which is what Mr. Brennan believed at the time and what we were led to believe at the time. So we asked for clarification. Ms. Little sent an email saying, I'm confused. Now you're talking about something that looks like a much more formal system called the department's, the CPD video file system. So we want, that's fine, no problem, download the videos, but we want the metadata and the log files that are associated with that. If it's on a formal file system, it's going to have metadata for the upload, for any access to the data, and for the download. We want the metadata and the log files as well. And that's the key entirely to the audit trail that we're interested in. Historically, we have been asking for videos, for all this video surveillance to be preserved and provided for about 3 years. And this has been one of the centerpieces of this litigation. When we asked for that additional metadata and the log files, Mr. Brennan, in my opinion, took an odd position, which is, nope, we had an agreement. We met right back there in that room. We said that you could videotape the download of the videos. You don't get anything else. If you want anything else, go to court and file a motion, which is why we had to file this motion. We don't think that it was necessary. This is metadata that is literally in the Commonwealth's possession as we speak. They have it. We're entitled to it. It's simple. That's all we're asking for. Mr. Brennan referred to the video files being placed on Canton Police Department detective file, which is yet another name for where this mysterious video may be held. And we said, it's easy to get the metadata. Let's just do a quick forensic image. It'll take less than a day. And all we want is the metadata for the 24-hour period, 23 hours and 59 minutes to be exact. And we don't need to file the motion. The first question I have is, why would the Commonwealth even object to this? It doesn't seem like something that they would want to object to. This is in their possession. They know that they've got it or they've got access to it. Why wouldn't we get it? These videos, again, have been a pain point for this case. These videos have been a pain point for this case for time immemorial, since the beginning of the case. We've been demanding that footage from 2022, January 29th, 2022. We were told explicitly on December 12th that no footage existed when we went out and had an expert look at the DVR. Their analyst actually called Mr. Brennan when our expert, who was on the floor at Canton PD, asked, are there any original files that are in the possession of Canton PD? The analyst went, I think her name was Colleen Crawford. It was Colleen Crawford. She went and called Mr. Brennan, according to our analyst. Mr. Brennan then informed Ms. Crawford to tell our expert, get it from the defense. Whatever, if you want original files, get it from the defense, knowing full well that we don't have it. If we had it, we wouldn't be there. And then it was that same day that miraculously the Canton Police Department revealed that, in fact, it did have some video footage on this either iCloud or video system. We take the position very clearly that this is Brady information, it's exculpatory information. The audit trail is also Brady and exculpatory, because the audit trail will tell us information that we won't otherwise have from the raw video. How did the footage end up on the system? When did the footage end up on the system? Who put it on the system? How many times has it been accessed? Has it been accessed at all? Has it been altered? Has it been manipulated? Has anything been deleted? Those are all data points that will be embedded in the metadata and the log files. The only way to answer those questions is for us to get it. That's all. And that's all we were asking of Mr. Brennan. We are surprised that he would object to that, because we would think that in point of fact, he would want those same data as well. Mr. Brennan made a point of saying, when he first came on this case, look, we want to give Ms. Reed a fair trial. We want to be as transparent as possible. And my hope is that was not just lip service for the media. I don't know why the Commonwealth would object to this. There's no reason to object to it. They have it. We want it. And now we're asking for the court to order it. I'll submit.
Mr. Brennan.
It seems like another effort to portray some type of injustice brought upon the defense, that half the facts are left out of the presentation. So to talk about reality, the reality is that I invited them to come download the DVR, NVR, where they full well knew that I had no idea if there was still video on there, and why would they be 3 years later? And after, they filed a motion making representations that weren't accurate. I no longer have the confidence to have off-the-record agreements with the defense. There has to be a certain level of confidence that when you have an agreement and you try to help the other side, that the memory of the discussion is going to be portrayed accurately. And in losing confidence, the best way to practice for discovery is motion. And yet the court asked me to meet with the defense after court, and I will always honor the court's request. So because of your order, we met with the defense. Now, as a matter of background, when they came out to look at the DVR, there was no motion. That was by invitation. It wasn't lip service. It wasn't trying to spin a story for the media. It was a good faith effort to accommodate the defense to an entitlement that they weren't actually entitled to. I didn't go on the 12th and speak to the police officers because we were here on Dr. Russell. I went after because I wanted to know more about the cameras. I had never visited the station. I wanted to know about the process, and I wanted to ask firsthand anybody that was there about the process because I wanted to do due diligence. And when I met with the chief and other officers, I was told by a retired sergeant who was there, DGM Petro, that he was the officer who would download video upon request. He never downloaded a 24-hour period. He was never asked to. There was never a motion to. When the government would ask, or state police would ask for a download of a particular event, like the Sallyport area, he would download it. What he told me is that that is on the DVR, an independent unit that has all the metadata and the logs if it still survives time. He said when he would download it, he then had his own hard drive at his office, and there was different files. One was called detective file because he's a detective. And he'd simply click and drag a copy of whatever he filed or copied for the government or the state police before. It wasn't a full accounting of all the metadata or all the video. It was whatever he decided to copy because he was asked to copy it. And so I thought, well, there's more information that exists. It's not going to be a 24-hour period. It's probably going to be cumulative, but I wouldn't know unless I looked. Now, the standard practice is the Commonwealth would then just ask the detective to download a copy and would meet our Rule 14 obligations by providing it to the defense. It's as simple as that. The defense is entitled to know more. There's nothing mysterious about it. There's no hiding about it. There's no story. It's just video on the detective file on his hard drive. But I called the defense, not only due diligence, professional courtesy, to say, you are already involved in the process with the NVR DVR. I've already invited you to bring an expert. I want to download this information that he copied over time and give you a copy. And they said, we don't know how we feel about that. Can you wait? I did not want to wait. I don't want any video being overwritten or destroyed. It was against my judgment, but I was deferring to the defense request to wait. And now it has become part of the spirit of their argument of oppression that somehow there's something odd or miraculously hidden about this. It is simply video that the sergeant clicked and dragged to another file that we can go in, click and drag it to a hard drive, and give them a copy. After you asked us to speak in the back room, the 6 of us were there. We had a conversation. We said we would simply copy the video, and then as another measure, which was unnecessary, we'd actually videotape it. And we did that because the defense wanted us to, and also it seems if it's on videotape, it can limit baseless allegations later. So we were happy to do it. And then when we got back to the office, the request changed. Under the spirit of Brady violations and due process, it was suggested that we were supposed to engage now in a different process, and that was metadata. I don't even know if the detective file has metadata. I don't actually know exactly what they're looking for. It's a simple click and drag process. Whatever video exists with the sergeant, we will give them. We're obligated to give them. The only delay has been because they've asked for all these different accommodations and different styles of doing it. And so we want to meet our responsibility, download the videos, and simply give them to the defense. There's nothing else about this issue. It's that simple. And technically, we don't have any other obligation other than to download it. It seems as though when I extend courtesies and obligations, it becomes complicated. It's not a complicated process. So we'd like to finish our Rule 14, download the video, give it to the defense, and then they can make any commentary or argument they want about it.
How quickly can you do that?
I imagine you do it one day, but today is, maybe we have done by the end of the week.
You want to make, I'll be briefly.
Yes.
Very, very briefly.
Take your time.
Thank you. Mr. Brennan's confidence, notwithstanding, what I'll say about that, pretty immaterial, what his level of confidence is. I'm more concerned about his obligations as the representative of the Commonwealth. And he really didn't talk about the metadata in his argument. He didn't talk about the metadata in his written presentation, his opposition, because he knows that we're entitled to it. That's all we're asking. One thing I really agree with him on. This is simple. This shouldn't be a fight. He's got video data. He's got metadata associated with that video data, and there's probably, maybe, log files. If there are, we're entitled to them, and he should want to give those over to us. He just indicated that this detective file, whatever it is a hard drive. Every electronic storage device has metadata on it. So even if it's a drag and drop, makes it sound super simple, that electronic drag and drop will have metadata associated.
Yeah, still be metadata about when it's got touched, when it got moved around, anything anybody's done with it, it will be there. I mean, and it's one thing I get if some boomer prosecutor, but this guy's a savvy criminal defense attorney. Hank Brennan defended Whitey Bulger. So for him to go like, I just don't know what's going on, boss. I'm simple police folk. He's doing the John Coffey thing. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'll get you that. I'll give you the things off the electronic magic box. Like, no, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work that way.
With it. That hard drive, every time it's accessed and the data on it is accessed, also will have metadata. Euphemistically, it's called electronic fingerprints. Every single, whether it's a thumb drive, a hard drive, or a server, every one of them have metadata on it. So it's not difficult. And we're interested in the videos, but we're also interested in the data that is behind the videos as well. And I wouldn't be nearly so concerned. And Mr. Brennan makes this argument, well, the defense is just up here, again, pontificating about how they've been oppressed, I think is his word. Nobody's talking about oppression. We're talking about fairness. We have been told from day one, before the first trial ever started, Your Honor, this court recalls this. We don't have any further video evidence. Whatever videos we have, we've given them over to you. Then on April 4th, in the shadow of the trial starting, we get more video. Where did that come from? Then in the middle of trial, we get more video. It happens to be an inverted video. Where did that one come from? Then on October 24th, we get more video. This past October 24th, well after the trial, we get more video of Brian Higgins out at the location of CPD on his phone. Where are these dribs and drabs of video coming from? That's all we're asking. And Mr. Brennan should want the
October 24th. Did that video come with the metadata?
No, it's just video. It's a video file. And I'll also, that's a great point, Judge. When you have a hard drive that's storing video files, my understanding, again, I'm no expert. My understanding is that hard drive will likely have some sort of EXE program, an executable program on it to play the video or to store the video. It'll also have potentially some sort of video player, maybe a proprietary player on it. And then there's going to be the file. So that's what we're asking for. There's metadata associated with all those things. It's not a hard ask. It's not a heavy lift. There's no reason to justify, well, you know what, I'm just going to drag and drop this and you get the video and nothing associated with the video. That's all we're asking.
Any further response, Mr. Brennan?
Your Honor, there's no attempt to deprive the defendant of anything. In fact, historically, if we look back, we invited them to come to the actual hard drive and do it themselves, and they declined. So this isn't an issue where the government is trying to hide something or keep something from them. If there was obvious metadata, we would provide it, but I don't understand this is that type of system. So they're asking for certain things that I don't think we can accommodate. If they want to come, they're invited. If the court wants me to inquire of a retired sergeant detective about metadata, I'll do that. But the issue is going to become that when we drag and click these videos, and if there is no metadata or logs of what they say they're looking for, there's going to be yet another accusation. And I do not want to invite needless accusations when it's beyond our duty. Our duty is to provide the video. What more can we do than to invite the defense themselves to come into the Canton Police Department and take a look at the system? So if there's something they want, then we'll copy it.
Okay. Thank you very much. All right, Ms. Giannetti, the next one should be fairly quick and simple. The motion for Pro Hoc Vici. I asked you before when Mr. Alessi joined us, you have a rather vague good cause exists to grant this motion because Mr. Betterow, is that how you pronounce his name?
Yes.
Betterow has specialized skill and knowledge in representing defendants in matters of this nature. I asked you last time what you mean by that.
Right.
I need another affidavit. As soon as I get another affidavit that has a little bit more in it, I'll likely allow the motion.
And would the court require further oral argument, or do you anticipate potentially allowing it on the papers, Judge?
I would probably allow it on the papers unless I know there's an opposition, but
Okay, thank you.
it's rare. All right, but I need a more detailed affidavit.
Your Honor, may I have just a moment with counsel? Thank you, Your Honor.
So, Chad, just so you're aware, Pro Hoc Vici is the idea that Alan Jackson is a California licensed attorney. He's not licensed in Massachusetts, so he needs support from other attorneys and permission from the court to practice in Massachusetts. So that's why Pro Hoc Vici status is important.
Okay, the next one's paper. Yes. Yes, yes.
Yes, very true. They're so generous for letting us access evidence.
So I did just say unless there was an opposition. Is this an opposition?
It's not an opposition, but I have some thoughts that I want to share with the court.
Okay.
It's not an opposition because I think a defendant who's presumed innocent has the right to counsel of their choosing. I think it's a very fundamental right. And I don't think the Commonwealth should dabble in taking a position trying to prevent an accused from having counsel of their choice. That being said, as Your Honor may be aware, Mr. Betterow is also an attorney for Mr. Kearney. And that is something that I think the court should consider and be thoughtful about for a couple of reasons. There is a history, a symbiotic relationship between Ms. Reed and Mr. Kearney.
They're talking about Mark Bedrow. He is another attorney who will be joining the defense team. Aiden Kearney is Turtle Boy, guys. He's the investigative journalist, the YouTube channel here, Turtle Boy. Turtle. You know, also Awkward Turtle. He has been basically kind of showing the world how fucked up the Karen Reed case is, being charged with counts of jury intimidation, which I think are bullshit. And the prosecution is now opposing that. So here we go.
There is a history of documented evidence showing the sharing of discovery between the parties. And inevitably, that discovery is promoted in such a way that abuses, harasses, and bullies witnesses in this case. Not unmindful that there's over a dozen indictments against Mr. Kearney, which Mr. Bedrow is representing him for. Now, it's not great clarity, but it's been represented that there is a relationship between Mr. Betterow Mr. Bradel, who's Mr. Kearney's other attorney, and the defense attorneys in this case. There's a record that has been represented that the attorneys in Mr. Kearney's case, Mr. Bedrow, Mr. Bradel, have an understanding with the defense attorneys in this case, that there's an ongoing long-term implicit mutual assistance and mutual defense that they've been a part of for a long time. Now, the Commonwealth is not entitled to any product of a mutual defense, but it is curious in that Ms. Reed and Mr. Kearney are not co-defendants.
Who gives a shit if there's a mutual defense? They're allowed to do that if they want to. You have no interest in that. Turtle Boy's watching Runkle. Is Runkle covering this right now? Let's see. What's Runkle up to? What's our boy Runkle the Bailey? Looks like Runklebot nods, which is kind of interesting. No, I think he just got done being live. So, well, maybe Turtle Boy will bring his people over here. That'd be fun. Yeah, this is, and I agree that's a shame. You know, so the fuck what? So the fuck what? So what? Who cares?
It is curious that given the indictments, most of them that deal with witnesses in this case that allegedly have been harassed and intimidated.
Okay.
It is curious that that relationship exists and the nature of that relationship. It's not something that I think I'm entitled to, but the court certainly could delve into that ex parte. It's important because we'll later talk about in a sanctions motion, a violation, a direct violation of protective orders in this case. In the discovery in this case was provided to special attorney in Mr. Kearney's case to make sure that there was a thorough review of all discovery, and much of that was turned over subject to protective order. And I expect there'll be a similar motion in Mr. Kearney's case. Within 24 hours of the violation in this case, there was a violation of different material in that case. And so inevitably, you have Attorney Bederow who will be serving two masters. He will receive protected information in this case that is supposed to remain protected and not leaked and distributed to the media and the press and court pleadings. And some of that information will not be information that Mr. Kearney is entitled to.
Oh, well.
And being in a position
the fuck well
of representing two different defendants who are not co-defendants, being in that position is going to be a difficult task to manage. And I am worried, and I have good reason to be worried about the privacy of our protected material. I have good reason to be concerned about the improper dissemination of our material. I have a reason to be concerned about the continued harassment and bullying of witnesses. And this information, if a court order won't protect it, then nothing will. Then nothing will. And so we know this relationship is substantive. We know it is a deep relationship.
Poor BBs.
The attorneys, in fact, in this case, have direct communication they had with Mr. Kearney, over 29 calls each.
Yeah.
And so, not to speculate, but having a mutual...
Yes, he's been helping them show how fucking corrupt the police investigation was and all the wrongs that have been done to Karen. Yes, imagine that.
Agreement, a mutual aid agreement, does not allow an attorney then to become one of the attorneys who is entitled to protection under a protective order in a particular case. It doesn't. And that concerns the government. And so while I do not object to Attorney Bederow, they should have as many lawyers as they want. I think the court should have some caution and some concern and should consider some type of inquiry ex parte without the Commonwealth present about the nature of this joint aid agreement and the history of it and whether protected information was ever shared prior to Mr. Bederow presumably joining this case, and whether there's protocol in place that if there is protected information in this case, that it does not leak again. It does not get shared with a non-co-defendant. I don't even know how to describe the relationship. I'm asking the court to consider assuring itself of those safety measures because this trial is going to happen. And these witnesses should be able to walk into this courtroom without fear, without bullying, without abuse. And that has not happened. For many reasons, it has not happened.
Yes, because they're scumbags.
And this makes it a more
Those witnesses
issue.
are pieces of
the
shit.
defendant is entitled to a fair trial, which means she's entitled to another attorney. So I don't object. But the Commonwealth is entitled to. The Commonwealth is entitled to a fair trial. And the witnesses are entitled to walk in this courtroom without being abused.
You are not entitled to a fair trial, sir. You are not entitled to a fair trial. No. Ain't happening. Ain't happening, Captain. You are not entitled to a fair trial. I don't know where you think that's the case. I mean, let's just fire up the Sixth Amendment here. Sixth Amendment of the United States Constitution. Just checking here. I'm just gonna check it. And, we got a pretty good source here. Constitution.congress.gov, Sixth Amendment to the United States. In all criminal prosecutions. Okay, so we're talking about criminal prosecutions here. In all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury of the state and district wherein the crime shall have been committed. Ha! 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 Oh, wow, okay. Let's see here. Maybe the prosecutor gets the right to be a whiny bitch here. I don't see. No. Nope. State is not entitled to a fair trial, chat. The state is not entitled to a fair trial. Sorry, but if you are the state, you must suffer. Your existence is pain. You must suffer. But the idea you are entitled to anything as the state is preposterous. You are never entitled to a fair trial. And any prosecutor who thinks so is goddamn wrong. Is completely wrong. We're not worried about the state getting a fair shake. We're worried about the person being persecuted by the state getting a fair shake. Because remember, what happens when the prosecutor loses? They go home. Go home and cook dinner. Who cares about their problems? Not me. Not the founders. There is no right for the state to have a fair trial. None. Let's go back to this. Let's keep moving here, chat. We're going to keep moving.
Okay. Ms. Giannetti, I have to consider everything that was just said, but I'll wait for your affidavit.
Right, we'll try to address those issues in the affidavit, Judge. Thank you.
Okay. All right, the next one, I believe, is paper 489, Commonwealth's motion to amend the December 5th order pertaining to audio recordings in possession of Gretchen Voss and/or Metro Court. Relatively straightforward, but I'll hear you, Mr. Byrne.
Your Honor, you provided us the full audio between the defendant attorneys and Ms. Voss. I'd like to have it transcribed because I expect to use many parts of it for trial. The order was all the attorneys could listen to it. I can report none of the attorneys have listened to it other than me. It was sent to a transcriber, but I told the transcriber not to listen to it or record it because although I expect it might have been in the protective order, I want to be beyond caution on this and beyond reproach. So I'm asking permission for me to be able to make a copy, stenographer make a copy so that we can identify pieces that we expect to use for trial.
Okay, there's no objection to this, is there?
No, Your Honor.
Of course, I'll provide the defense a copy if they want.
Yes. All right, so this is allowed. All right, so the next is paper 490, Defendants Rule 14 and 17, motion for court order authorizing defense access to the Lexus in Traverse and to the driveway at One Meadows Avenue in Canton to conduct an independent testing and analysis. I did receive this morning an affidavit from attorney Mark Diller on behalf of the O'Keefe family in response to Defendants Rule 14 and 17 motion for court order authorizing defense access to the Lexus in Traverse and to the driveway at One Meadows Ave in Canton to conduct independent testing and analysis. I assume counsel has seen this affidavit of Mr. Diller?
Yes, Your Honor. In the interest of saving time, I would alert the court that Mr. Brennan and I have conferred prior to today, and today he handed me a drive that appears to have the 3D scans that we were seeking.
Okay.
So that may well satisfy us, and I would ask that the court take no action on this motion until we've had a chance to view them, and we may not need to have action on this motion.
Okay. I do just want to say it's clear from this affidavit that there's a spirit of cooperation, even though unnecessary, frankly, on behalf of the O'Keefe family. So I would not do anything really other than what their lawyer has suggested. Okay. All right, so no action taken.
There's John O'Keefe's brother. I feel like a retard.
So the next is paper 493, defendant's motion to reconsider reciprocal discovery order, and paper 503, the Commonwealth's opposition. So who is arguing this motion for the defendant?
I will be, Your Honor.
Okay, I'll hear you.
Would you like me to address both issues first or?
Both issues.
Okay. So, Your Honor, taking first the motion to reconsider the reciprocal discovery order, I start by acknowledging that the court has wide discretion in this area with regard to discovery orders and reciprocal discovery orders. I'm also aware of the court's ruling in the first trial whereby we were ordered essentially to turn over any evidence that we were going to use when impeaching Commonwealth's witnesses. And that's what we're asking the court to reconsider. It is our position, Judge, that, part of, and I believe I quoted a case on the last page of the motion, the effectiveness of page 12, Judge, of my motion. The effectiveness of cross-examination often depends on being able to surprise a witness, particularly an accusing witness, with evidence that contradicts or is inconsistent with his trial testimony. And with regard to at least two witnesses, the examples that we outlined in the motion, we were deprived of that very legitimate exercise of confronting a witness and surprising them with an inconsistency in their testimony. With regard to Ms. McCabe, it was never mentioned anywhere that she spent an hour at the home, the personal home of Mr. Lank from the Canton Police Department. That only came up after we were ordered and did produce, pursuant to the court's order, the geofence data, which revealed that that meeting did take place. And so, the Commonwealth, armed with that information, went and talked to her about it, obviously, because she was very well prepared on cross-examination to address that issue and came up with a very detailed explanation that appeared to diffuse the fact that she hadn't mentioned it before. She was very well prepared for that. Secondly, with regard to the juvenile witness, as the court remembers, I'm sure from the first trial, we had that video of the steak tips incident, and it clearly did not show the type of animosity that had been originally prepared. And so when it came time for trial testimony, it turned into something different. It turned into, well, that was a takeout incident, which, we question what was done behind the scenes to, arrive at that conclusion as well. I also, include in the motion, and just to be clear, Judge, this is something I will start with in addressing the motion for sanctions. This is my motion. I drafted it. None of my co-counsel saw this motion before it was filed, so I take responsibility for everything that's in there. But we also make the point that with regard to Trooper Proctor, it appears as though there was, he was monitoring the trial. At least that's the inference that we draw, because he specifically says the one part that he didn't want to watch was Mr. Jackson's closing argument, and he obviously uses derogatory language toward him as well. If we turn over this information in advance, not only does the Commonwealth get a chance to blunt this information by having the witness be given an opportunity to mold their testimony to take into account the impeachment information, but this is I won't say unique trial, but it's a rare trial that is streamed online. There's obviously a lot of press interest. Some people are watching everything that goes on. The court has issued sequestration orders. We don't know for sure whether they've been complied with. And to the extent that we turn over this impeachment material and the Commonwealth uses it, it's another opportunity for a witness to see potentially in advance something that could otherwise be damaging toward cross-examination. So switching to the Commonwealth's motion for sanctions.
You know what, let's wait. When I said both, I thought there were 2 points that you made up to.
Understood.
All right, so Mr. Brennan?
The court shouldn't force reciprocal discovery. You shouldn't force it, Your Honor. Trial by ambush is simply that, trial by ambush. There were many instances when I reviewed this trial where the defense came up to sidebar, they had pictures, photos, things they didn't turn over that they expected to use for impeachment. And the rule requires them to do that. The reporter's note to Rule 14 talks about reciprocal discovery. Quote, Even-handed discovery to both sides will improve both the administration and the delivery of justice. A witness has a right to look at information before their testimony. Just like the Commonwealth provides all evidence to the defense should do the same. Now, it's notable in the rules, although they're changing March 1st. We look at Rule 14A1A. That has a limitation in discovery for the Commonwealth under the person's direction and control. The reason for that is because the Commonwealth, unlike the defense, must provide all discovery in their possession and control. So, for example, if the Commonwealth is going to call an expert, they have to provide everything. Although the rules are a little bit more limited, it is the best practice to provide everything. If the Commonwealth is not going to call a witness, they still have obligations. And that is why that language is in Rule 14A1A. If the Commonwealth seeks consult with somebody, they're not going to call, they need to produce it to the defense. For example, I get random emails from unknown people, anonymous, or sometimes their names on them, talking about theories of the case. I give it to the defense. Because it's in my possession, custody, and control, I have no intention of calling an anonymous person, but because I have the information, because I am the Commonwealth, they're entitled to it. If we look under 14B, it's different for the defense. If they're going to call a witness, they have an obligation to produce evidence. If they have evidence they're going to use at trial, they have an obligation to provide it. And so allowing the defense to simply hide information because they think it's impeachment at trial is uneven-handed. It's not fair play. It's not in the interest of justice. There is no caveat or exception for the defense that they're entitled, in state court anyways. Federal rules are very different. In state court, for them to withhold reciprocal discovery. The order of the court at the first trial, even though it wasn't followed religiously, was that reciprocal discovery was an obligation of both sides. And that should not change. It's going to create chaos. It's going to create delay in the case, and it's going to create an unfairness. It will be trial by ambush. It will be. And so since there is no caveat or exception for the defense, and since there's no entitlement to withhold impeachment material, we should not make an exception for this team. They should provide it like everybody else. So I'm asking you to maintain the reciprocal discovery order that is already in place, and then hopefully at this trial, it'll be abided by.
Okay. Was there any follow-up to that? The motion for sanctions will be a little bit later.
Right. No, the only thing I would point out, Your Honor, is that with regard to the report of Jennifer McCabe, I should say, revealing this length meeting, that report wasn't provided to us until after she testified. And I think this court remembers from the trial that there was sort of a rolling discovery that we received even as the trial was going on. So I just wanted to make that point.
Okay.
Your Honor, I've tried my best, and I will continue to provide all discovery timely to the defense.
Thank you.
I've been on the side where late discovery comes in a trial, and I never want that to happen. Sometimes exceptions happen on both sides, but that is not the intent of the Commonwealth. The Commonwealth is doing everything possible to give the defense more discovery than they're entitled to as early as we can.
All right.
Except they're not.
Next is paper 495. This is defendant's motion to compel discovery, and then there was a response from the Commonwealth. Paper 502. So who's arguing this for the defendant?
Thank you.
Okay.
Your Honor, we filed a motion to compel certain discovery that is still outstanding. There's 10 items. I'll address those in turn. The first request deals with...
So you have the Commonwealth's response, right?
Yes.
Where it doesn't object to some. Are you going to skip over those? Or?
Yes, of course,
Okay.
Your Honor. For those, I'll just ask that the court allow those requests. For request 1, Your Honor, we've asked for all chain of custody logs, reports, evidence logs, and other documentation regarding how the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office and the Massachusetts State Police came into possession of each distinct production of Canton Police Department video surveillance footage from January 29th. As the court has heard many times, we have received 3 separate productions. One before trial, which was missing the precise time Ms. Reed's Lexus was brought into the Canton Sallyport garage. Another production in the middle of trial, which included an inverted video showing only the left portion of Ms. Reed's taillight, not the condition of the right rear taillight in the Sallyport garage when it was first brought in. Then we have a third production, which was not turned over until after trial in this matter. In that production, we have video surveillance footage from outside the Canton Police Department, where it shows Brian Higgins on his cell phone talking to someone at 1:30 a.m. outside of the Canton Police Department. The only report or documentation associated with any of those 3 productions is a singular report from July of 2024 that details an IT person, Colleen Crawford's, review of video surveillance footage and summarizing information about what she looked at. We have no chain of custody logs, no evidence logs, no reports regarding the download of that information. We don't know who the custodian of records is with regards to those 3 productions, or how this information magically appeared in the Massachusetts State Police and Norfolk County DA's possession. We are entitled to that. We're simply asking for what we have in all the other video surveillance footage, evidence logs, a copy of when that was booked into evidence. The Commonwealth cannot skirt their discovery obligations by simply failing to memorialize evidence that doesn't help them.
So does the Commonwealth have an obligation to create a document if that's not already in existence?
That information is in their possession. It's Brady, right? We have Canton police officers who handled this footage. We have Massachusetts state police officers who handled this footage. They know that they downloaded the information. You cannot skirt your Brady obligations by failing to memorialize things in reports. We are asking for basic reports from the witnesses who recovered this evidence. They can't avoid cross-examination on evidence that they're admitting at trial by failing to disclose who obtained it and when. And I can understand why they might not want to do that. There's an ongoing federal investigation. No one seems to want to take ownership of these videos, but that does not absolve them of their Rule 14 obligations. We still don't know who the custodian of records is. The Commonwealth cannot skirt its mandatory discovery obligations by refusing to memorialize this material and relevant evidence in a report simply because they don't want the individuals involved to be questioned about it. The Commonwealth is intentionally subverting its obligations under Rule 14. We're asking that this request be allowed.
All right.
The second category of information, Your Honor, is information that relates to the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office investigation clearing Officer Matthew Farwell of the murder of Sandra Birchmore. There are certain names that this court will recognize. First responding officer, Sergeant Link. Detective, Kevin Albert. Trooper, Mike Dunn. Trooper, Zach Clark. Colleen Crawford. Lieutenant John Fanning. Trooper Garino. Lieutenant Brian Tully. Trooper Kathleen Prince. And Norfolk County District Attorney Michael Morrissey. All of these individuals are material and relevant witnesses in this case. They are also material and relevant witnesses in the investigation that cleared sworn peace officer Matthew Farwell in the murder of Sandra Birchmore. The parallels in these two cases could not be clearer. It's the same material witnesses, same investigators, same prosecutors, same failure to investigate a law enforcement officer who should have been a suspect. Specifically in terms of our requests, we've requested an unredacted copy of MSP report number 26. There are certain reports in this case, Your Honor, that deal with material witnesses that are so heavily redacted that we can't make sense of what is even in them. It deals with an interview conducted by two material witnesses.
Chat, there are police reports that have been redacted so they can't read them. Yes, because that seems like fairness in a trial. And yes, how do you know what you're questioning if you don't know what's being questioned?
Witnesses in our case, Lieutenant Fanning and Trooper Kathleen Prince, and we're simply asking for an unredacted copy of that report. As to request 3, we're asking for an unredacted copy of public record responses regarding email correspondence and communications associated with the Sandra Birchmore investigation. The communications we've received in our case have been revelatory, material, and exculpatory. Given the consistency and parallel type of investigation, the communications between and among law enforcement officers and the Norfolk County DA's office with witnesses who are material to our case are relevant and should be turned over in discovery. Finally, we've also asked for an unredacted copy of all reports, communications, and handwritten notes and other documents from the Sandra Birchmore investigation concerning material law enforcement witnesses in our case. Your Honor, the reports by investigating officers that led to the improper clearing of Peace Officer Matthew Farwell in the Birchmore case go directly to the credibility of those law enforcement officers and their reports. The reports that they drafted in reaching certain conclusions, clearing Officer Farwell, directly go to their credibility in our case, which again, deals with the clearing of a fellow officer. And I would cite one example, Your Honor. For example, Massachusetts State Police Trooper Garino, the same person who obtained and analyzed the electronic devices in our case and reached certain opinions and conclusions, also analyzed electronic data in the Birchmore investigation. As it turns out, Trooper Garino made certain ultimate conclusions in at least one of his reports, stating that really there's nothing to see here. I found some text messages. They corroborate that Matthew Farwell had a consensual relationship with Sandra Birchmore, no evidence of improper conduct, nothing to see here. Yet, when the federal investigators looked at the electronic data, they recovered tens of thousands of text messages between Birchmore and Farwell that implicated Farwell in her murder. The text messages, which are publicly available and referenced in federal search warrants affidavits, are incredibly disturbing. They establish that he had sex with her as a minor when she was in a cadet in the Stoughton Explorers program. They detail violent fantasies. It's clearly implicates Matthew Farwell. It's not even a close call. Is it relevant and material to us that the same expert would analyze a fellow officer's electronic devices and make those types of conclusions? Of course it is. This information goes directly to Garino's credibility, bias, competency, and ability to conduct an investigation in this case, where there were law enforcement officers who should have been suspects. As to request number 5, Your Honor, we're asking for documents related to the internal affairs investigation into Trooper Michael Proctor. As the court knows, we have an ongoing Rule 17 motion as well with regard to these documents. The Massachusetts State Police is an agent of the Commonwealth. The internal affairs investigation happened quite recently. We're asking the court to go ahead and order those documents because we are on the eve of trial. The administrative hearing that took place deals directly with allegations of misconduct by Trooper Proctor in this case. If Attorney Brennan's position is that these documents are not in the Commonwealth's possession, we're asking the court to go ahead and just order that information be produced so that we're not having to scramble on the eve of trial to obtain that information.
So if it's Rule 17 instead of Rule 14, the third party has to be served, right?
So there is an ongoing order, Your Honor, under Rule 17 as well. We already filed that, a Weenus motion back in 2022, and it was ongoing.
All right. If somebody can tell us the paper number so we can find that.
Thank you, Your Honor. I will. The Commonwealth has indicated that they do not object to requests 6 and 7, so we'd ask that the court allow those requests. As to requests 8 and 9, those deal with a request for communications between the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office and its law enforcement agents on the one hand, and all experts retained by the Commonwealth in connection with this case. We find the Commonwealth's response to this request objecting to it particularly interesting. They claim the request is overbroad, that it is beyond the scope of Massachusetts Rule of Criminal Procedure 14. And the reason it's interesting that they're objecting to this request is because our discovery request is copied verbatim from Attorney Brennan's request as to the ARCA experts. Now that he's on the receiving end of that request, he's objecting to it. All we're asking for are the material and relevant communications that the Commonwealth and its agents have had with their experts in preparation for this case. Ms. Reed is entitled to that, and it's proper in terms of being able to effectively cross-examine those experts. And as to request 10, Your Honor, there's no objection. We'd ask that that be allowed.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Mr. Brennan.
Yes, and this is part of the issue. Like tens of thousands of text messages were hidden from the defense. We later on learned. Turtle Boy is 7.2 viewers right now. I need to A-log more. There's nothing to A-log. Turtle Boy, like, that's the thing. Like I said, I made all those dumb fuck comments about him previously. And man, dude's getting the work done. So, yeah, like I said, I don't approve his methods, but he got the work done. So that's all I could say about him. He got the dub. If I ever got on a screen with Aiden, I'd be able to tell him, man, he's doing God's work. So that's all I'd be able to tell him at this point. But this is absolutely garbage that they have to come into court and demand all of this. Yeah, total it was like 30,000 messages. Oh, the chick who slept with 1,000 men is pregnant. Wow, that's not a surprise.
It's important to represent facts accurately. And the court has ordered in the past, when representations have been made, that they be accurate. We hear an echoing of a claim of
fuck you. Fuck you, you asshole. There's a way you could say that. But yes, if you guys didn't know the Sandra Birchmore thing, yeah, the police up there were basically like raping and grooming a 15-year-old girl and then murdered her, and then the cops kind of covered it up. So, kind of a problem. TJP says, put the vocal fry in the bag. Yes, put the fries in the bag. So, we'll see.
But we hear no substance behind that claim from the defense as to, number one, the Commonwealth is not going to make logs up that don't exist. They're not going to make a record of something that is not in writing, that there is no witness for. The defense has asked a chain of custody, logs, evidence, reports. If they existed, they would get them. I told the defense in an informal discovery request I would look into any chain of custody information, and I did. I've spoken to a number of witnesses, including the retired sergeant, and I expect that I will have him write a report to give to the defense, and I'll provide them all the information that I have about what I could find out about the tapes that were provided in this case, where they came from, who downloaded them, who touched them, and who they went to. But there are some things the Commonwealth cannot do. They cannot simply invent a log when a log does not exist, and they cannot invent a chain of custody that is not in writing and there is no witness to. I've done my best to be thorough and diligent, and they will receive a report and have all the information that we have. It's odd that it's important during argument to mention that there's an ongoing federal investigation and then list a number of witnesses for the Commonwealth, implying somehow something's nefarious, that these witnesses are involved in this other controversial case that has nothing to do with this case that the defense would like to parasite onto. And so they just throw out terms and words for our audience that's here on our right to try to create an illusion of impropriety. There is nothing that they have provided about the Birchmore case that will provide a basis for the Commonwealth to now go scramble and search for information that there's no good faith actually exists. It's easy to throw out a name, attach it to the Birchmore case, troopers, the DA, malign their name the way they know how to do. But when you're arguing discovery motion, there must be a factual basis for it, a factual basis, a good faith basis. We hear the defense say that Trooper Garino says, nothing to see here. I have not seen that report where Trooper Garino says nothing to see here. I don't know what report they're speaking about when they suggest Trooper Garino had done something wrong in a different case. They imply it. They're suggesting that's the basis for you to compel discovery on a case that has nothing to do with Ms. Reed's case. They just say it. And so you should reject outright an argument that tries to imply impropriety when there is none, with no factual basis or good faith basis, because they want to entertain our audience. And so the reality is the Birchmore case is being investigated by federal authorities. There's been a number of disclosures by the Commonwealth for information that has been public record. And there is no good faith basis that there is something in that case that is relevant in any way to this case. Ms. Birchmore was a victim. Number 4, unredacted copy of all reports, communication, handwritten law enforcement notes, again, in the Birchmore case. Why? Why that case? Troopers work on many cases. That case certainly has a public appeal to it because of the harshness of it, the sadness of it. But what does it have to do with this case? Nothing. But invoking it is helpful for the defense. So they do. You should reject it outright, Your Honor. Number 5, all communications, documents, reports, memorandum regarding Trooper Proctor administrative proceedings. Any information in the Commonwealth's possession and control, we would and we do turn over. In addition to what's in our possession and control, we know that there's likely statements that would be helpful for the defense. So we have an affirmative obligation under Graham. In fact, I had a conversation with Defense Counsel, and they asked if I would join them in a phone call and speak to counsel for the state police to try to encourage the production of materials in this case, whether they're exculpatory or not, even material or relevant. And I agreed I would do that upon request. Now, that call has not been set up by the defense, but when it is, if it is, I will be there and I'll advocate for them for this information. In addition, there's a Rule 17 that has been ordered by this court that imposes an ongoing duty separately upon the state police. Now, state police have certain protection where it's an internal affair investigation by law. I cannot usurp that law. I can only earnestly try to my best of my ability. I sent an email on January 28, 2025 to a number of attorneys at the state police. And I informed counsel in view of the Commonwealth's responsibilities under Brady versus Maryland, in Giglio, and most recently set out in McFarland and Graham, the Norfolk District Attorney's Office is inquiring whether the Mass State Police Legal Department and law enforcement officers assigned to the State Police General Headquarters in possession of any relevant materials, statements of Mr. Michael Proctor, witness statements, and any findings relative to the Department investigation and hearings relative to this matter. The Commonwealth is under a continuing duty to inquire and obtain all relevant evidence pertaining to witnesses in the matter of Commonwealth versus Karen Reed. All potentially exculpatory and relevant evidence must be disclosed to the defense. Exculpatory evidence is any evidence that would tend to exculpate the defendant or tend to diminish.
Yes, you're correct. And that hasn't been happening. That has not been happening. So yes, I'm glad you acknowledge it, but it's not been happening here, brother. It's not been happening. You need to get Sean and Clyde down there for National Airboat Day. You need a hell of an airboat for me.
Credibility. Exculpatory evidence also includes any allegations of misconduct that bear upon the truthfulness and the integrity of the investigation or could be read as suggesting bias or would question one's credibility to be impartial. In addition, to any obligations under Mass Rule 14, Commonwealth alerts Internal Affairs Division of Massachusetts State Police to an ongoing Mass Rule Criminal Procedure 17 order for the production of records regarding the investigation of Trooper Michael Proctor. To the extent that any records beyond that was initially produced in March 19, 2024, please provide forthwith to the Commonwealth and the defense. So we are and have made best efforts to provide all of that material. The defense is entitled to it. We cannot force them or compel them, but there is the Rule 17 motion, and we'll continue to abide by our obligation and duty. Number 6 and 7, we do not object. Number 8, there is a difference between ARCA, and we'll discuss that in more detail when we get to the ARCA motion, and expert discovery. We have provided, there is a difference between ARCA as an expert witness and typical expert witnesses. I can assure the court that we provided our entire case file for our accident reconstruction expert. We provided all of our materials for all of our experts. The discussion between the experts, the oral discussion between the experts and me cannot be replicated. If there was anything inconsistent or exculpatory or helpful for the defense, I would reduce it to writing and I would provide it to them. They have all the materials our experts relied upon. They have all of the reports. They have all the raw data. They have the research material. I do not believe that tracking phone calls for a regular expert is possible, number one, and has any relevance whatsoever. It is different for ARCA. And again, I'll delve into that when we talk about ARCA because that is a very unique situation. We have been very broad in our expert disclosures. Written communications, number 9, email, text message between Norfolk County DA's office, law enforcement, and any expert. Again, there's scheduling issues. I've been through emails and text messages, and I have given a healthy production of materials that are relevant, would even suggest any type of bias. And in addition, I've asked for a production of any statements whatsoever with any witnesses in this case so that I can review them. And I've received production from 2 troopers in this case that I have to review. I received them at the end of last week. And I'll continually look through all correspondence available to me for Rule 14 materials and provide it.
All right. Any follow-up, Ms. Little?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
All right. So I'll take that under advisement. Do you have that Rule 17 paper number?
Your Honor, we don't have the paper number yet for the motion.
Yeah, we'll have to find, I mean, we're over 500 at this point. So.
Yes.
All right. All right, so next we'll move on to the so-called ARCA motion, Commonwealth's motion to exclude employees of ARCA, paper 497, and the opposition 505. So, Mr. Brennan? Sure.
Your Honor, my purpose is not to deprive the defense of an expert or deprive the defense of an ARCA expert in this case. But there has to be a minimum requirement of reciprocal discovery and discovery before a party can call a witness. It's not enough to say that the witness is helpful or unhelpful. There has to be full disclosure when calling an expert. It's interesting that the defense's position is that the information is unavailable to them and that since there's been a voir dire and trial testimony, that should be enough. Well, what the government worries about is that there is other things that are relevant, like compensation, promise, reward, inducement, whether there's collaboration between one side or the other and that expert witness that they don't know about and can't ask about, that there's some type of bias or favoritism that the expert might have towards one side for whatever reason.
Okay.
So if that information is not disclosed, then it is not only an impediment, it creates a position where it is an unfair examination.
Okay.
It's not the ARCA witness.
So here we go. Is this it, chat? Is this the, I think we're to that point where it's time to bang. I think we're at that point. Let's see what this is.
That I have the issue with. It's the issue, the fact that I don't have adequate discovery. If the defense is going to be a proponent of those witnesses, they have obligations, Rule 14 obligations for basic discovery. Now, I wasn't at the last trial, but I've read the transcripts. And on June 10, 2024, you asked the defense about ARCA, and it was represented these experts were hired by the federal government, and they provided a report to us pursuant to a TUI request. It was specifically outlined and ruled that they could not prep with us for trial. Could not prep with us for trial. And so Your Honor said, so I am to believe that the defense is calling 3 witnesses that you've never spoken to and putting them on the stand here. And the answer, that's essentially it. We've spoken to them only for purposes of coordinating their testimony and their background. We've not been able to interview them regarding their findings, which are outlined in detail in the reports that both sides have. Your Honor said, see, I don't see that as being the report. I don't see that as being detailed. It leaves a lot of questions as the gatekeeper as to what they can testify. And you have not complied with your Rule 14 obligations. And the defense says, we can't, Your Honor. And Your Honor said, so you can't, but you haven't. So I'm left with that you have not complied.
So where in the transcript is this?
On page 2812 and 2813 of June 10, 2024. Now, having some familiarity with the federal government, it seemed to me, based on my limited experience, there was much more to the story. So I called the federal government and I tried to encourage them to provide full discovery so that the experts could testify. I was resigned to a TUI letter. I've been down that road many times. It's a dark road that never sees the light of day. So I filed a TUI letter, comprehensive TUI letter. And it was delayed. And over a long period of time with requests and deadlines, I finally received a response that was unresponsive. And it was striking that it wasn't noted as unresponsive, just when I read the materials, and Attorney McLaughlin actually identified them. They didn't respond to our request, so Attorney McLaughlin wrote back, and then we got new materials, just some. But these materials are the very reason why the defense should not be able to call witnesses without giving full discovery. Having not been at the last trial and reading the transcripts, I only have a flavor for the last trial. So there is email correspondence between the defense, not only the federal government, but the ARCA witnesses themselves. A recent request for their appearance pursuant to TUI, which I have no issue with. But if we look back earlier in the relationship, what we see back in March 22nd, 2024, is that there are conversations between the defense, Attorney Jackson, and Daniel Wolf, who's one of these ARCA witnesses. Thank you so much for taking the time to get on the phone with me this morning pursuant to our conversation. Please feel free to forward an engagement letter to this email address. I will get that countersigned and returned to you forthwith, along with your retainer as required. The Commonwealth, as I understand it, was not aware.
Hey, let's see that again. Let's hear that again.
Much for taking the time to get on the phone with me this morning pursuant to our conversation. Please feel free to forward an engagement letter to this email address. I will get that countersigned and returned to you forthwith, along with your retainer as required. The Commonwealth, as I understand it, was not aware of any promised rewards or inducements or payment. They relied on a reciprocal discovery order of this court for that information. Response, hi, Alan. Subsequent to our conversation on Wednesday, the U.S. Attorney's Office asked we pause any further conversation until we received additional information from their office regarding how our involvement will move forward. Now, it's not the opinion that troubles me. It's the relationship, and Commonwealth should have an even playing field. Saturday, June 22nd, Daniel Wolf.
Can't they just be like you and say, oh, we fucking forgot it? That's what you guys do. Just saying.
Wolf writes, Alan, I spent some time this morning putting together a brief outline of my qualifications, also attached my D&T list. I obviously won't say what the response is verbatim, but I gave you a general sense of what my response would be. Again, I thought your questioning during the voir dire was fantastic, so please feel free to make whatever changes you feel necessary. Now, this isn't information provided by the defense in reciprocal discovery. This is information provided by the federal government after numerous requests, TUI requests, and an insistent, the best I can, to get as much information as I can. We then have provided an outline of questions and answers for a direct examination. The Commonwealth did not have the luxury, the privilege, did not even know that there was an outline that was being disseminated by this totally independent witness who took no side other than that of the truth. What follows from this outline is then the outline with remarks from this independent expert who knows nobody. So we see in the margins in the notes This fair-minded, objective witness says, so not being able to inspect the vehicle is something that's not uncommon in your line of work. And he writes, absolutely not. And then he comments, not sure if you want to put this somewhere in the direct examination. I have a feeling they, the Commonwealth, are going to argue. I didn't personally inspect the vehicle. I had enough information from the material I reviewed, so it wasn't necessary. Need to show the jury it doesn't matter in this case.
What's the date of that?
It's not dated. It's not dated. The TUI request is a recent February response, but they send random documents. There's no real accounting. Now, I'm not saying that undermines the conclusions of ARCA, or not. I'm not saying they're not qualified witnesses, but it certainly shows some bias. I've turned over a lot less in this case than this. Another comment. Would it be fair to say because you had a lot of nighttime visibility work, your cases frequently involve pedestrians? Yes, unfortunately, there is a direct correlation between the time of day and pedestrian fatalities. Statistically speaking, most pedestrian fatalities occur during the evening and night hours. That would have been nice to have. So my specialty in the area of lighting and human factors results in a lot of my cases involving pedestrians. Pretty important stuff in this case. And then he comments, if you don't want me to say this, that's fine. That's fine. Shh, don't tell them. Have you qualified as an expert in court before? Yes, I realize my test.
Okay, that's not the first time somebody sits down with an expert and say, I'm going to question you about this. Focus your questions here. So, like, don't talk about. Fuck you. You guys do that with your. You're telling me you didn't go over your video or discussions with your witnesses about saying not what to say and to say. Come on now. Come on now, honey. Come on now. Let's go, brother. Come on. Come on. Ah, there we go. Neo Dark Matters, he's saying I turned over a lot less. He means I've turned over things less egregious than this, and I got a ration of shit for it. He's trying to argue I didn't fuck up as bad as these guys have. Ellen, Island. Oh, I'm sorry, Island. I apologize. It's been a little while. Good to see you. Saying they weren't allowed to prep him. I understand that. I'm talking about the other witnesses they had, the state's witnesses when the state presented them. Those witnesses have certainly been prepared. So, you know, the idea, he's like, well, they've been prepared. It's like, yeah, that's how that works. You prep witnesses. But here's the thing. If Jackson and them lied and they did all this, they're fucked. And Jackson's going to not get a pro hoc. And Jackson will probably get referred for discipline if he really did lie. We'll see what happens, though.
And when I said it 20 times, when you asked how many I've been qualified, I misinterpreted the question. My fault. 11 trials, 7 depositions. Not sure if you want me to clear that up. I don't know if it was ever cleared up. And then a bill.
Well, now you're making an allegation. I don't know if it's ever cleared up. Well, that's kind of an asshole thing. If you don't know, then it's not a fair allegation.
I don't know if it was ever cleared up. And then a bill from ARCA to the defense for $23,925. That's not trample. That's not trial by ambush. That's getting duped. So I didn't know any of this, but I've tried a few cases. I've been around the federal court a little bit. I know how it works. And sometimes parties pick sides. It creates an imbalance and unfairness, and then it allows the ability to one side to use ghosts. They create illusions and shields and say something's there and something's happening, a federal investigation, and this person, and then this happens. I don't care if the ARCA witnesses testify at trial. I don't care about their opinions, but I care that it's unfair, imbalanced, and hidden. And the Commonwealth, like the defense, is entitled to discovery. So if they can produce the discovery, I'd welcome ARCA.
All right, I'm going to take a recess before we start.
Court, all rise, please.
So, yeah, here's the thing. If that's at all legitimate, yeah, they're fucked. But I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, we're dealing with, remember, we don't know what the 23,000's for. But that's a problem, though, because that's something, if it existed, the defense should have turned that over. So we need to find out how were they compensated and what was it for? It sounds like the defense is a little fast and loose with what the records they retain. Well, that can create a problem. And that doesn't mean they can't fix it, but let's keep things tight. But at the end of the day, remember, the state is claiming, well, we've been playing hide the ball with electronic discovery of Brian Higgins walking around the police department Remember, who is entitled to the fair trial? Now, do I agree that you're entitled to discovery that you tend to use? Yes. Do I agree trial by ambush is not proper? Yes. But Hank Brennan is just juicing up the tampon here a little bit too much for me. So we're going to skip ahead. We got the fan of justice, chat. It is back. The fan of justice. And, Judge Bev took a time out. And we'll see what's here. We'll see what's here.
All right. So the Commonwealth just provided the court with information that causes me grave concern. The implications of that information may have profound effects on this defense and defense counsel. So for that reason, I'm going to suspend today so that when we meet again...
And this is the thing here. I'm sure ARCA sent them the bill, but they're like, no, send that to the fucking feds. I'm sure that's the answer to this. And I'm sure the feds are going to have to say, yeah, we paid the bill, like they sent the bill to the wrong place. And that's, I think, Hank Brennan making a fucking mountain out of the molehill, because as he says, and if that's true, how that all worked out, as he says, he's like, I worked in the federal courthouse. I know a lot of things. Then you fucking did this intentionally to cause problems. So that's the issue. Was this a bill sent to the wrong party? That happens all the time. Most of you guys dealing with vendors and sales contracts, wrong parties get billed all the time. You have insurance. The insurance company bills you and you call them. The hospital bills you and you're like, no. It's my fucking insurance covering that. And it gets fixed. So we'll see what happens there. What happens there. Island is saying the defense admit they paid. I haven't heard that part yet about being paid yet, but we'll see. But guys, here's the thing though. If the judge thinks a party's lying, that is an issue. If they committed a lack of candor before the court, that is a grave concern. If they did jerk it around the first time, that is a grave concern. That is very problematic. So, is Judge Cannoni very theatrical and she getting the vapors? Maybe. Could she be justified in doing this? Maybe. We'll have to see how it shakes out. Then she should hear both sides. Well, that's a bit of an issue here. She didn't give them a chance to respond, and I think that's a problem. Because it looks like she doesn't do anything else here, and I think that's a big issue. Well, Island saying the defense admits they paid it for travel and lodging. The issue is the June 22nd email. And I understand the email issue. But Hank Brennan's up there screaming and juicing his tampons out over $20,000. Because yes, if I remember correctly, they asked him, "Are you compensated? Like, do we pay you for this?" And he said no. Although I find it hard to believe it's $20,000 for those guys to be there. But hey, it could be. She's given a week to respond. Yeah, but I think they should have had the chance to respond there. But you know what? Let them respond in emotion, and we'll see how this goes. So, Captain Chromo, though, if he sent that information, depending on how, and without actually seeing the emails, depending on how it was said, they might have had an obligation to provide it. We'll see. So we'll have to see how this shakes out. Could this be a nothing burger? Could Hank Brennan be jerking everything around? Sure. Could Judge Cannoni, as this turns into a mouse fart? Maybe. Right now, there's a bomb stuck in the mud. And we don't know if it's full of explosives or mouse farts. We're going to find out. We'll find out. She seems really mad. She's out of breath. This just seems like a lot of her demeanor. She seems like a complete head case to be in front of.
Address these issues. All affected will be appropriately prepared. So I'll see you a week from today at 11 o'clock in the morning. You can tell me now if that is impossible for you.
And then when it turns out that it's wrong, she's going to look like the dumbest fucking idiot ever. Which at that point, if I was the defense, I'd fucking lay into her and ask her to get recused. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see what happens, because at that point, if I'm the defense, I'd fucking lay into her and Brennan.
And where Mr. Brennan, where the federal authorities have been kind enough in the past to allow me to have copies of everything, would you be kind enough to call over there or check with whomever you were dealing with to see if I can in fact get a copy of everything that you just read?
I can, and there's a brief chronology I think Your Honor should be aware of. If I could add that right now, it would take me less than a minute. The chronology is December 4th, we sent another tour request, 2024. January 6th, we filed our notice of intention to exclude ARCA experts. January 30th, 2025, the United States Attorney's Office sent a response to both ours and the defense requests. Without any prompting, on February 6th, 2025, the defense and the prosecution received an email from the U.S. Attorney's Office saying that the contract had ended with the ARCA experts and that if either party wanted to engage, the original materials are still protected. This was a change in position about whether a party could engage. On February 11th, we filed the motion to exclude. February 13th, the defense provided us the emails that I read. February 13th, 2025, I think I said the federal government. It was the defense. February 13th, 2025, they sent us the emails and the direct examination outline. We reached out to the federal government again because I was curious about the change in position on February 6th, that the contract has ended, but that parties could contact ARCA. Obviously, the Commonwealth is in no position to contact ARCA because that would naturally preclude the defense from retaining them. So we've refrained and we will not reach out to them.
All right, so the information that was provided to you, not from the federal government, I'd like a copy of before you leave the courthouse today.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, 11 o'clock a week from today.
Which that's kind of a walk back, because he made it sound like the feds gave me that information, and now it's the defense providing it, which kind of just a clarification there.
Is it possible to move it one day?
This makes Brennan look really fucking bad. And when this turns out to be a bombshell full of mouse farts, and Brennan walked up to the side of it and wiped off the mouse fart part on the bomb, Brennan's good. You know, I'm sure Canoni will suck his dick anyway because she does. But this is a big problem. If he's going to do this, this is one of the deals. When you come in this way, if this turns out to be a mouse fart, then Jackson and all of them better be sharp, have their knives sharpened and look for Brennan's scalp. And if I were them, I'd seek recusal of Canoni, or at least get Brennan out of there, because this guy is mucking it up badly. Yes. And his whole point is that claiming they withheld something that they themselves provided. Yes, but the argument, chat, is this wasn't provided at the first trial. That's the candor issue. This doesn't appear to have been provided the first trial. That's where there's a problem. That's where the issue is. That's the issue. That all this happened previously. That all this was known before the first trial is a wash, though. Doesn't matter. If that means, if you can show that if you're an attorney and you lied in a previous hearing and that hearing became a nullity, it doesn't matter. You still didn't have a lack of candor. You still had a lack of candor before the court. You're still responsible for that. So that doesn't absolve them. It doesn't absolve them. Yeah, and then eliciting false testimony and basically suborning perjury. It doesn't alleviate your obligations under the professional rules. Oh, it all worked out. No, that's not the answer. If they did something wrong, they're toast. So we're going to see. That's what it's going to come down to. That's what it's going to come down to here, I think. There's the emails about what happened. And like I said, guys, the issue is the email. And I know there's some emails that, that alleged ARCA sent out that whether or not Jackson and the team referred to or responded to. But it's that first trial, because if they did it then bringing it in now brings up they introduced evidence they didn't properly do the first time. That's where the issue is. It's not that they are lying now. It's that they previously got caught lying is what Hank Brennan's trying to do here. So we'll find out next week. Commando Kodiak says, remember that time when we found that the bomb in the mud, but it's filled with ice cream? And instead it was filled with ice cream. We all ate ice cream together. That's an obscure reference. SB Sellers is saying, did Rocky, is that 88 toast? No, he's a career. He'll be fine. So Alex says, any dates in the emails? It was like the issues about the voir dire window. And yeah, then there's a bunch of undated stuff. So there's going to be problems. Schroeder says, I'll bet they provided it somewhere. And if they did, it's going to be really fucking hilarious that, Hank Brennan, like that. And just, I work in federal court. I know what it's like. There's going to be a problem. Yes, next on the Kern Red Show. And Luke is correct. Yes. I mean, he hasn't made the motion that way yet. Well, here's the thing. He's not making the motion. He's going to let the judge do it. Because at that point, if the judge determines there was a lack of candor, she can sua sponte start punishing parties. She could sanction them on her own. She doesn't need their motion to sanction. So there's some options there. So, but that's the thing, guys. We don't know the story yet. We're going to have to see the motions. We're going to have to see, what the defense provides. And we're also going to need to see all these emails the state is talking about. I don't think we have everything yet. We need the whole story. It's kind of like the Supreme Court stuff with Trump. One side has filed a motion to be heard. We need the other side before we can really decide. Yes, if this does turn out that they lied, they're toast. But if it turns out they're legit, then they're good. Trump one says, what's the name of the liar list? The Brady list. Cops get put on the Brady list. What are they saying the defense did wrong? Basically, they lied and hid information from the first trial that would have shown bias and that they compensated the defense experts. And that also they had communications with them in the middle of voir dire about what to say and what not to say. So like I said, we're going to have to see what happened there. And Luke says, yes, but then sua sponte excluding critical defense witnesses or booting clients or booting defense counsel is a big sanction to do sua sponte. Yes, it is. But unlike in Richard Allen's case, Alan Jackson is not licensed in the state of Massachusetts. So he serves, his ability to practice is at the court's discretion. And if she revokes it because he was alleged to have been dishonest, the Supreme Court of Massachusetts will agree that we're not fucking arguing about it. He's gone. And it'll be Yannetti, and it'll be this guy, and it'll be maybe Bedro, but Bedro maybe not. She might say only Massachusetts licensed attorneys. So easily could be that way. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. The allegation is they prepped him, but we'll see. We shall see. Luke says, I don't know if that makes the Sixth Amendment analysis any easier. Well, it's not just her only attorney. The other attorneys are here. This guy's an expert. He's a Massachusetts attorney. This is a Massachusetts attorney, the chick. And Yannetti's a Massachusetts attorney. Alisi's Pro Hoc Vice, also from New York. Oh. Bedger was not licensed in MA. I think he's licensed in New York. So I don't think Mark Bedra. Well, actually, yeah, he's licensed in Massachusetts because he represents Turtle Boy. So, Alisi is also a New York attorney. There we go. Elizabeth Little's from Cali. Ooh, all right. Okay, so you got an NY attorney. So she must roll with Alan Jackson then, if she's here from Cali, and then MA in the background. That's our attorney breakdown. Louis the Smile says, why would the defenses close the emails? The argument is, and if I'm willing to bet here, it's the argument, because this happens all the time. Parties accidentally give the smoking gun away. Because when you're sending documents over, sometimes you accidentally send the incriminating evidence with it. That's a lot of times how people get caught, especially in legal situations. The attorney accidentally fucks up and provides the thing that shows they were lying. That's not an uncommon situation at all. So, but let's go ahead and let's finish this up here because we're almost done.
To the 26th instead of the 25th.
It would have to be at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Here, if I may hand up the discovery prep
Thank you.
by the defendant reference by.
Oh, great, thank you.
Is there any way we should use this for today?
We can do the afternoon of the 25th if the morning doesn't work.
The problem I have, Your Honor, is I've got a hearing on the 24th. I have to fly on the 24th, even to be here.
So you can be on Zoom for this if you want, Mr. Jackson.
I'd rather be here, but I have to accommodate whatever the court's calendar is. I have to accommodate the court scheduling. If we can do it live, I'd rather do it live, but I will accommodate the court's calendar.
Are all parties available at 9 on the 26th?
I'm not.
Nah, just a moment.
That's a problem, chat. When you have a bunch of attorneys, this kind of problem happens. You know, trying to coordinate shit. This is a very common problem. You know, like in a divorce case where you've got two attorneys and a guardian ad litem, or in a children's services case, you know, you've got the children's services attorney, you've got an attorney for mom, attorney for dad, a guardian ad litem. Maybe the children have their own attorney appointed for them. You know, there might be a grandma and grandpa and another party seeking custody coming in. And then you've got the court, and you've got to coordinate like 5 or 6 dates, 5 or 6 attorney schedules. This shit gets to be tough. Although it's interesting. I will tell you, I think she calmed down initially, because here's one thing I will say, and that's a shame. Yes, there could be like 3 dads and 2 moms as well. But that's a shame. And Luke and all you other guys here, hear me out. I think there's an issue here. She's letting him show up by Zoom. I think she calmed down and realized this may not be as bad as she thought it was. Because she's not demanding him be here. She's letting him show up by Zoom. I think that's Kanoni's way of saying, like, I've calmed down and I realize this probably isn't the end of the fucking world. So I don't know if that's been discussed by Defense Diaries, Runkle, whoever. I think the fact she's letting him show up by Zoom shows she's kind of like, okay, maybe I overreacted a little bit. So let's see. That's Shane says 100%. Yeah. Well, it's not only wanting to kick him off, but if she wanted to sanction him, she would want him there. Because you wouldn't let an attorney be sanctioned via video hearing if you could avoid it. So. Shredder says, I think it's the opposite. I was only watching, but I could hear Jackson take it that way too. He seemed taken aback. Yeah, I think he's like, we'll accommodate your schedule. We're okay with that. I think there's a... so Peter Tragos is saying he thinks that Brennan thought he had a smoking gun until he realized, oh my God, they provided these to us. Very well could be. Very well could be. And I will say Peter Tragos is a very smart guy, very sharp attorney. So I'm not really sure, but I think that could be very well issue as well. So very well could be. And I think that's because he did walk this back a little. It does seem walked back a little bit. Everybody kind of walked back. I wonder if there was an in-chambers discussion too. Because it seems like everybody's kind of chilling. Like things are slowing down a little bit here. I don't know. I think there's something going on. We'll see what happens though. Iman Rosa says, according to everyone, her bouncing might have helped the defense. Yeah. According to everyone, Sean, everyone's a smart attorney. I mean, really, like, guys, the attorneys that are here online, you know, attorney like, seriously, like, I'm being 100% serious here. You know, Attorney Lee, Melanie Little, Andrea Burkhart, you know, Peter Tragos, Emily Baker, Nate Brody, Joe Neerman, Kurt Miller. Is it Mueller or Mueller? I forget. I don't know. Actually, I don't know how to pronounce it because I don't know how. Like, I know his last name, but I don't know how you pronounce it. You know, Hayden Gleister, down in Australia. Good day, mate. You know, Runkle, Ian Runkle, Shad, black belt barrister. Trying to think of other people here. There's other. Uh-oh, what is this? So, I mean, a lot of people are legal. No. Attorney Tom's out there hunting down whales, chat. Attorney Tom is out there doing like the real stuff. You know, Jeff, Legal Vices, was a great attorney. Danny On, Barnes. Okay, well, let's not get too carried away here. Viva, let's not get too carried away. Legal Mindset, yeah. Bruce Rivers, he's not really law to, but he does his own shit. Bruce Rivers is a phenomenal fucking attorney. Absolutely great attorney. There's a lot of good attorneys out there, chat. That's why I'm telling you. Lead attorney's a great attorney. Robert Gouveia, great attorney. That's why I'm saying there are a ton of them. And they're all really fucking smart people. Really smart people. And I'm not afraid to admit a lot of them are probably smarter than I am. And they're, you know, savvier, you know, or a little more skilled than I am. I wouldn't doubt it. You know, you just got to be, it just is what it is. Ron Coleman's a phenomenal attorney. So there you go. Lead attorney's too busy with women's milkers. Yeah, well, we all have our vices and we all have our kinks. I'm not going to judge them on it. So, anyways, we're going to keep going here.
Thank you.
Your Honor, we'll accommodate the 25th.
Okay. All right. So we'll see everyone.
I'm sorry. Just on behalf of Mr. Alessi, is there any chance the court would entertain the motion that he's doing today or no?
No.
Okay.
All right, 11 o'clock on the 25th.
All rise for the court, please.
All right, chat, 11 o'clock on the 25th. That is next Tuesday. They're 11 o'clock. We're doing this. Scott Reich. Yeah, Scott is a great attorney. Like I said, there's a ton of them out there. Very smart and knowledgeable. There's also a lot of dumb motherfuckers out there. So, been there, done that. It's been a member for 10 months as the monthly redemption of Clyde Coin. Thank you. Well, thank you for being here. Thank you for your support. Remember, chat, Clyde Coin is going to the moon. Auf der Mond, as they might say in some countries. KJ is also saying, how many times did the balloon knot came up in your cases? Answer the question, Sean. As I said, there have been times where you get to talk about all kinds of stuff. Never balloon knot, though. Never balloon knot. But very interesting there. Very interesting here. Jefferson Post says, we do say things kind of retarded here at times. Just a bit retarded. Keopathic says, you think the East Coast courts are silly. The Marine Corps starts all ceremonies with, to all who shall see these present, greetings. You know what, though? The Marine Corps is cool. The storied history and tradition. I get the theatrics and the pageantry there. Makes sense. Totally makes sense. Snowcat Tish says the $24K was paid by the feds. And when that comes up, Hank coming in and screaming about this shit like his hair's on fire is going to look really fucking bad. It's going to look really bad. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Sandy's saying Gouveia for sure. Sorry, being an attorney doesn't make you a smart attorney. I 100% agree. That's why I said there are a lot of really good ones here. More than I can name. But there's a lot of dumb ones, too. A lot of dumb ones, too. Lauren De Laguna. Okay. Now we're just being now we're just trying to troll, chat. Trolling is never a good thing. Do not troll, chat. Do not troll. So we'll see what happens there, chat. We'll see what happens. Also, let me know what you guys think. I'm trying to do. Somebody give me some ideas and I would say criticism, critique of what I'm working on, and I'm trying to work on changing the lighting, and we're going to change some of the camera angles here coming up. We're changing some stuff up on various things we have here. So, like, for example, chat, where, I'm not like, because I do work here from home. So, like, I'm not getting, we're not getting rid of, like, the printer. The printer is going to stay where it's at. But we're kind of changing stuff up. The books were kind of in a bad spot. The books are over on the safe now. We're kind of changing things up. Let me know how it looks. No Trump. Well, Trump collapsed, and he's kind of done. So Trump's going to have to go bye-bye. Will you read everyone's super chats? I thought I had already. Yeah, I've already gotten all the super chats. Like, I haven't missed one. I've gotten through all these. Like, we've gone through all the super chats. I'm like, looking here. Yeah, they've all been done. So I don't know what you're getting at. Nobody's complained about the printer. Nobody complained about the printer. So that's fine. Yes, get down, Mr. President. Get down. Do I blur my backgrounds for Zoom court? Yes. Do I take Trump down anyway, though? It's not proper. It's not necessary for court. I don't like doing that. So I make sure that that's not an issue in court. Because it's court. It's not meant for you to be political like that. So. Where's Ben Crump on the tier list? Or B. Ivory Lamar? The homies are raking in checks. What am I going to talk shit about them? I mean, yeah, they might be assholes, but those guys are raking in fucking dough. So, joke's on me. The office needs more cowbell. So, let's see here. I did, but Sean ignores me. I didn't see what you said there. Is that an Epson or Canon? No, it's an HP. Epson. Like, are they still around? Because I remember Epson was like in the 90s, but like, who has an Epson anymore? Get a potentially criminal light or sign. I've thought about getting some of those like LED things, but I've also thought, chat, I'm going to fix like up here. I'm going to work on this, try to change some of this stuff up, and we're going to come up with some things. We're going to come up with some plans. I got some ideas on how to fix some of this stuff up. So we're going to do that. There we go. So I wear my Trump necklace to work every day, and you can't stop me. Fair enough, but I work in some areas where that's not necessarily going to be good for my clients. Zoom court is where Sean is going to greet the court with hello, chat. You guys, like, no, that shit's happened. Like, I'm worried that's going to happen. I'm worried it's going to fucking happen. Yes, Epson's still around. Okay. HP is a devil in printers. Not going to lie, knock on wood. This printer runs like a raped ape. Let me tell you what, dude. Runs like a rape tape. Runs on the knockoff toner cartridges. It's a HP LaserJet. This thing's like a machine gun, let me tell you. Sean's not going to see this message. I know. I'm literally not seeing it. Stacy says, you can send me money for feet pics. Get the opposite of that neon sign Jeff had. Yes. Oh. Captain Chromo says, you don't mind if you send me stuff? Send me whatever you want. It's all good. So yeah, it sounds like the FBI investigation will come in. I'm looking forward to hearing about that. We'll talk about that more. You're not a real blogger until you have a YouTube plaque in the background. Well, at the rate we're going, that ain't ever fucking happening. Let me tell you what, Chad. Let me tell you what. That ain't like, of the list of shit that's ever going to happen, that's not one of the things that's going to happen. That's absolutely not going to fucking happen. Not at all. Oh my God, Becky. Look at my sub count. It is so low. It's not like one of those rap guys sub counts. I mean, like here, chat. I'll show you. I'll show you right now. I'll show you right now, chat. Here is. Let me show you what's going on. Let me show you what's going on. All right. Here. You guys want to see. Guys want to see where we are. We were at 25. We were at 25,000 like 16. We're not there anymore. We're not there anymore. So, yeah. We're a little less. We're a little less right now. So, yeah. I know it says you're right behind the camera trying to fix it. No. 2.0 stays out of the way. So no, I have a control here because this is like an AI camera. So I can like move it around. I can move it left. I can move it right. You know, I can return it back to where I am. I can even do this, like zoom in, zoom back out. It's neat. And if I turn on the AI tracking, it'll like follow me around. So yes. Oh my God. Yes. Back to 24.9. Yes. Angela says never say never. And I understand at some point it may happen, but like just kind of the way things are going, it's going to take a while. It took a long time to get here, so I skipped Ghazni, and Ghazni always dumps to me. I'm sorry, guys, there's just a lot of good ones to forget about. Iman Riz says, one big trial could easily send you 100K. Yes. Yep. And that's just it. Is. You gotta be there when the lightning strikes. Gotta be there when the lightning strikes. Amateur Iconoclast says you had 420 people watching you on X. Yeah, but most of those are fake. Most of that stuff is just people kind of glossing through or things there. Can I blame chat? Yes. Justice Smith says numbers don't go down. I think YouTube trims numbers at times. So, Sean buys rich man's printers. Yes. Well, that was actually a Christmas present for me a couple years ago. So, YouTube sent the email, so it counts. Oh, I agree. That's the big thing. Oh, X's views, not viewers. Okay, well, there you go. Cody Wilson is not a good lawyer. Cody Wilson's not a lawyer, though. Cody Wilson never graduated law school. Hashtag says, I got on my dad's YouTube and followed you and my daughter's. Well, thank you. God, that's going to screw up her daughter's algorithm. Oh. Brewberry says, Sean skipped my chat. What? Where? What? No, I did not. What? God, you guys, sometimes. What did I miss? Schnauzer Persol says, I'm a working lawyer. A lot of the others don't practice currently. Yes, but a lot of them previously did while they were doing stuff, so it's kind of normal. It's a heing, not a hearing. Well, we're going to call it a hearing now. Yes, she asked for a Runkle cutout. I'll work on that. I'll work on that. Yes, it is indeed a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll. I agree. Oh. No, it says, what's your status? Are you a political commentator? A commenter? movie buff social media. I am a defense attorney. I work in the Cleveland, Ohio area. I'm an attorney licensed in the state of Ohio. And I try to give, kind of like legal analysis. But at times, like this is a criminal case. But tomorrow we're going to be talking about what President Trump is doing and what's right now in front of the Supreme Court. So there's going to be times there's a lot of politics that gets infused into it because politics and law go hand in hand. But we kind of do a little bit of both here. So that's how I'd phrase it. That's how I phrase it. Certainly not. I know a lot about I know a lot of movies and stuff, but other than that, I probably kind of leave it there. I hope that kind of makes sense. No, if that's kind of what you're asking, I hope that answers it more or less. Let's see. What did I missed something here? Yes, I do love black people. Will Congress ever reinstitute the Article 3 courts? They haven't abolished them. There are Article 3 courts currently. The Judiciary Act. All the federal courts are Article 3 courts. I'm not sure what you mean. How would I feel when you have to defend someone who's committed a heinous crime? I'm okay with it. I've represented people who've done some really nasty shit. It's not me. I'm not condoning or condemning their behavior. My job's to represent them. My job's to do what I can to get them the best deal possible, the best resolution possible. And if that outcome means they walk out the door, so be it. It's not my fault if things don't go wrong and that guy walks out the door. That's the state's problem. Their job's supposed to stop me. They can't stop me. Oh well. So, as the great warrior poet Omar Little of Baltimore, Bodymore Murderland, said once in court, it's all in the game, yo. It's all in the game. So, it's all in the game. They're still better than the state. Yeah, for the most part. Yeah, I'm okay with it. When are you going to hit the bongos in the Congo? Oh, yeah, things are falling apart in the Democratic Republic of the Congo right now. Well, the Central African Republic. Things are going down in the Congo. Ooh, buddy. The rebel forces in the Congo are advancing very fast. The problem is the Congo is massive. I don't think you guys understand. If you look on a map, the Congo looks small because of Mercator projections, but the Congo is a massive land area, and it's all dense, horrible jungle. That's a shame, says, I walked a PDF file today, and we all cheered. You got a 2-word verdict? You got a 2-word verdict today? Hell yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Getting those 2-word verdicts. Those are the best. That is the best. Congrats. Portland says, oh shit, Omar coming, yo. Omar coming. No, full dismissal 2 days before trial. That counts too. That's one of them dubs. That's one of them dubs. Big dub, boss man. Big dub. Big dub. There you go. Yeah, you also got a 2-word verdict today? Rocky. Yes, he did. That's a big dub. Getting shit dismissed before trial. Angela says, fun black woman fact. I've never sat and watched an episode of The Wire. In Baltimore's 45 minutes away. I mean, here's the thing. When you watch it now, it's really dated. Like when they're playing with flip phones and a lot of the technology is kind of like it's Stone Age technology now. But overall, the first season's really good. The second season's kind of like, here's the thing. A lot of people don't like season 2 of The Wire. Season 2 of The Wire, The Wire is really good because David Chase wrote The Wire to explain why Baltimore is so fucked up. And the first season is the cops and the drug dealers. The second season is the impact on the unions and organized labor in Baltimore and how that ties into the crime world. And as it goes through it, season 3 is the politics. And then season 4, we have more politics. And then season 5 gets to, season 4 is the schools. And then season 5 is with the press. But no, the first 2-3 seasons of The Wire are phenomenal television. So flip phones, Breaking Bad, yeah, they're doing straight up stuff that wouldn't work anymore. Jim says celebrating a pre-death file getting anything but a wood chipper is fucked up. Well, you should go knock on the prosecutor's door for why they dismissed. If they dismissed, was he really a pedophile? I mean, if they let one walk, those are the people you should be going after. Yes, why watch it when you live near it? Panther just says they don't deserve trials. Well, apparently the prosecutor decided that he didn't deserve to be prosecuted. So when they don't deserve to be prosecuted, it sounds like they probably weren't what they were being alleged to be. Because that means the prosecutor let the person go. Just saying, chat. Just saying. Nice. One of Rocky's jurors did an interview already? Really? J-Rock, what did you say here? Did I miss? Do you play the bongo and the Congo? Well, hey, you know what they say, 50 years ago, you could work as a mercenary for a Belgian mining concern and shoot at UN soldiers and get paid for it. So, what does the world come to these days? What does the world come to? So, yeah. Yes, as they said, fish gotta swim. A man has got to have a code. Indeed. What are you reading apart from nerdy stuff? Some interesting new unresolved crime stories? No, I do reading as far as people when they send me cases and stuff, but I read a lot of historical books. I read a lot of nonfiction. I do read Brad Thor, stuff like that, but the history is full of stories that are so compelling that you would almost believe it's impossible. If you listen to them and read them, you're like, just wow, that doesn't make any sense. That's impossible. It happened, but it did. Those are kind of really what I'm reading. Right now, I just started Brad Thor, and I just started the which one is it? The Path of the Assassin. I think that's the first one in the series. Starting that out and seeing where that goes. People told me it's really good. So, fun fact. Yes, this is an interesting thing too, Noah. I have never watched an episode of Better Call Saul. Yes. So. Let's see here. I hate it when jurors give interviews. They happen to say something biased or nonsensical that makes you doubt the verdict. Well, yes, you do learn a lot of times. You're like, oh my God, these people are idiots. But you still want to, and that's a funny thing. They're idiots. You still want to know what they're saying. You want to know what they think, and you want to know why they did what they did, regardless of that. Even though that's the funny thing. I know they're idiots, and I still want to know what they think. So, and when am I getting cornrows? Tomorrow. Trey says it's good. I like it more than Breaking Bad. Have I seen the Karen Reed juror interview? I got 10 minutes into it. I have some driving tomorrow, about an hour and a half of driving. I'm going to listen to Turtle Boy's thing tomorrow. So we'll take a look for it. So with that said, chat, I think we are done for tonight. I think I got caught up on everything. Oh, because holy shit in the Karen Reed case. I'll take a look for it. Maddie B, maybe I want you to suffer just a little bit. Suffer. BCS is interesting. I've heard that. So, with that said, chat, we are all done for the night. It is 10:45. I don't know who's live right now, but we're going to take a look and see who I can send you to. Let's see here. Turn on the tube of views. Turtle Boy's live. You know what? I'll send some Turtle Boy in there. I'll send you guys a Turtle Boy. Yeah, D-Day Cobra's on. Yeah, I'll send you guys a Turtle Boy. We'll do that. Get, his 7,500. I'll give him like 20 more people. Why not? But that is it, guys. So if you also know it, and I know some other people are new here, we do a live show every Thursday night at 9:30. Kind of cover the weekly topics that have happened. Things that don't, we can't make an hour and a half show out of. We can squeeze down in like 10, 15-minute segments, talk about the things that have gone on. We got some nice little interesting tidbits getting ready for this week so far as things are concerned. Got some issues about the Proud Boys have lost the copyright to the trademark to their logos to a black church in Washington, D.C. as part of a lawsuit. Elizabeth Holmes gave a prison interview, which is interesting from her. I'm kind of curious to see what she's thinking about. And those are just a couple of them. But, we have a bunch of stuff coming up. What's my favorite movie? My favorite movie is Heat with Robert De Niro and Al Pacino. I'd probably say my second favorite one is probably Hunt for Red October. And interestingly enough, this is Heat. This is something called Frome, where you take the video or the movie and you squish it together. And it's a compressed, this is the entirety of the movie Heat compressed. And then over here, this is the entirety of Hunt for Red October compressed. And the company that does these are called FROME. They do them for all kinds of movies. If you want one, they're really cool. They're really, really cool. So, yes, Brewberries. Yes, they're both on the wall. Yes. So, nobody says Suffa chat. Sean doesn't love you anymore. That's right. Suffa chat. God, Red October sitting right there. Heat is a damn good movie. Yes, I think it's one of the best movies out there. So that's my favorite movie. I can watch Heat all the time. I think, especially if you're sitting there cleaning, like you go to the range, like you can put that in. Just you have like 3 hours, just sit there like clean guns. It's a fun way to watch a movie. Do they do erotica? No, it's not like that. It's not like that. Not like that kind of Heat. No, it's not a Arcadiverse video. All right. So with that said, guys, we are going to land the plane here. We got to get it grounded here and get going. It's no Brazil. Yeah. Bob Johnson said, I never wanted somebody to eat Clyde's face so badly. So. Anyway, chat, we're going to hit the road here. So welcome. Thank you again for everybody. If you guys are new, please like and subscribe. Let me get over 25K again, just so I can thumb it in YouTube's face. Can I get a Frome of Rust? I don't know. We'll see. AP says, I hope Heat 2 is going to be good. Oh, it's going to be garbage. It's going to be garbage. I promise. You can't improve on that. You can't continue the story. Everybody's dead except Al Pacino. Like, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. And Heron the Hack says, keep working on fixing the damn justice system. You're doing God's work. Like to think so, but we'll see. We'll see. Don't land like the Canadian airplane did. Well, yes, that's not a plan either. All right, chat. So you guys take care. Have a good night. And remember, until next time, just because you did it does not mean you're guilty. Especially ASAP Rocky. He is not guilty as a mofo. Completely not guilty. 100% not guilty. That's what matters, chat. That's what matters. Not guilty. Good night.
Weapons, blacksmithing, and models of planes, esoteric works, and even some trains. Much merriment had while drinking White Claws, tips on hunting, and even talking the law. Whatever you do, just don't talk to cops, even when they nab you on illegal stops. Just cause you did it doesn't mean you're guilty. But please talk to a local attorney. Was that the fat guy Rick Hayden yelled at? Why, yes it was, he even knows he's fat. For all this fun and more, there's one place to go. Here on Sean Martin's Potentially.
I have the forge somewhere at my parents' house. And when we go see my parents, I can go forge. That's where the anvil is too. So I just can't do it here. I have to drive about an hour to my parents' house to go use it. So 2.0 would kill me with the hammer if I tried to do it here. So I don't do it here. But I do have a forge. And next time I go out there, I'll film something and put it up on the channel.